me. Good evening. You can use the chat. Let's use the chat to convert to, let's use the chat to communicate with one another. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. How you all doing today? How's the weekend been so far? Today is Saturday. How you all doing today? Good evening. Awesome. Okay, that's good. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Samuel. Ovie, Ovie King. The king is in the house. You get me, you guys. All right. Ayodeji also. Good evening. Good evening. All right. Thank you very much. Good evening, Michael. All right. We're going to be starting. We're still expecting quite a number of people to join us, but we're going to start regardless because we like to keep the time. We're very time conscious. All right. So just to kick start, okay, I want to know where you guys are joining in from quickly in like a minute or so. Let me know where you're joining from. So currently I'm based in the UK. So if you're in Manchester, we can definitely link up sometime. Okay. So let me see. UK. Who else? Who else? Enugu. I can see someone from Nigeria. All right. So someone from ATL. You get me, guys. Rita is from ATL. Yes, I'm in Manchester. Selila. Let's you can send me a message on LinkedIn and anywhere you could meet up. Definitely London guys. London guys are in the house also. All right, Nigeria, PH, that's Port Harcourt also, Poland. Oh, it's good to meet you. We're in Nigeria. That's good. Good to know that you're here. All right. So today's session is going to be a very immersive one. Okay. And we're going to do something in 2 hours, and I can guarantee you that you're going to learn so much. All I want you to do is just settle down. You are literally the VIP for this session. All right. So I don't want you to do too much. Just plug your ear, avoid distraction, and just listen. So all I want you to do. Imagine just 2 hours of you listening and learning so much. All right. It's going to be a practical session. I'm going to walk you through a real life project, a real life data engineering project. Okay. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. All right. Atlanta. Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. All right. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So I just want you to listen because you've never done this before. All right. So I would expect you not to be able to, carry out, go alongside with me during this practical session. But I want you can get the recording, all right, and try your hands on it. I've made it as detailed as possible, and I'll make my session also as detailed as possible, so that when you get the recording, you could try your hands on it, and it's good for you to try your hands on it. You'd see how all these things that you feel like it's so difficult to do. You'd see how easy to be able. You'll definitely be able to do it after the session once you get the materials. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and let me see what screen am I sharing. All right. Okay. So exactly how to start your career as a data engineer. That's what we're going to be looking at today. So welcome to the It's Analytics Masterclass. All right. So if this is your first time, please, I want you to drop a one in the chat. If this is the first masterclass you're going to be attending from Analytics, all right, please drop a one in the chat. Abby, welcome. Omotola, Ovie. Oh, I have quite a number of ones in the house. That's interesting. It's good to meet you guys. So all I want you to do now is look to the left side of your screen. Just look to the left side of your screen. You'll see the usher raising their hands and waving at you. Please follow the ushers. We have a dedicated seat for you at the back, all right, or in front. Let's put it in front. All right. So we have a dedicated seat for you, all the first timers in front. So please, guys, let's give chance to all the first timers since they're coming for the first time. Okay. All right. I'm just messing around. But anyways, welcome to our Analytics Masterclass. And it's going to be the next 2 hours is going to be me telling you about how you can actually get started in your desired career path. And the desired career path we're talking about today is data engineering. Okay. Oh, someone said you don't see them. Don't worry, you'll see them. So the first thing I would like to talk about, okay, is talking about analytics for the first time. And even if you're coming here, if this is your fifth time, if this is your 10th time, we always like to talk about that's our plan, our mandate, okay? So our mandate or why we were created, okay, is essentially to get Africans interested and also get Africans into the tech space. That's literally what we are out to do. All right. And when you look at the ecosystem, when you look at the tech ecosystem, you really find a lot of Africans. And now you start to ask yourself why. All right. And if I should ask you, why are you not in tech at the moment? There's so many limitations that your mind, something has, has been clouded. Your mind has been clouded to say that you can't get into tech, either because of certificates, either because you don't have experience, either because you don't have a good train, you've never, gotten a very good training platform. There's so many limitations, all right? And that's the reason why we started analytics to sort of lower the barrier, all right, for entry, okay, for Africans getting into the tech space. All right. So I'm Nigerian, but the last 10 years as I've been working with different organizations, multinational organizations, and even country, organizations back home in Nigeria, or also in Africa, also, you know. So we offer training programs cutting across different tech skills. So data analytics, data science, data engineering, which we're going to be talking about today, data, business analysis, financial analytics, HR analytics, and so on and so forth. All right. So how we do this, how we deliver our training program, we have a unique style of delivering our program. So we have two ways of delivering our programs. So the first one is called what we like to call experiential learning. So you learn by doing. Okay, you learn by doing. That's the best way you need to learn. As adults, all right. The best way you learn is by practice. All right, by looking at how you can actually apply it into your real life, into your life, the way you're going. All right, the way you live at the moment. How can you apply it into a real life scenario? That's the best way you learn. So we have that methodology in which we use, which we call experiential learning. And that's what we're going to be using in class today. Right? And the second part is we engage industry experts, people that have been in the industry or that have wealth of experience in the industry. We bring them in to get you to learn from them. All right. So we have top professionals coming from, top organizations like Apple, Microsoft, McKinsey, Amazon, PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, and other top up FMCG logistics, and so on, different firms across the world. Okay. So we leverage that experience, all right, or you will leverage that experience in getting started in your tech space. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. All right, so that's what we are doing. So the whole essence of why we're here, or why we created, why we started analytics, or why analytics was created, was to get more Africans interested and get them into the tech space. So if you are an African anywhere in the world, you're an African in Jamaica, you're an African, or you have African descendants, okay, that's exactly what we're trying to do, get you interested and also get you into the tech space. All right. So we'll talk more about that as we go on. Okay. So who is this person speaking to you today? My name is Ifemena Ibro. I am the co-founder of Analytics, and I have a wealth of experience working across different the data ecosystem, different data roles. So I've worked as a data analyst, data scientist. I've worked as a data analytics consultant. I've worked as a data engineer. I've worked as a BI engineer, BI analyst, so on and so forth. All right. So working as a contractor is one of the reasons why I have such diverse, experience across different data roles. So even in the UK or even in the US, you would know contractual positions or like the law of contractual position that you do to 6 months, which sort of pays a lot better than the full-time employment and so on. But these are the kind of opportunity we tell our people that you can actually latch into when you finish the training program. And I'm going to share some of them with you on the call today. All right. So, because of that contractual position, I've gotten to work across different organizations, different sectors, and so on and so forth. But the funny thing, the interesting fact is I did not start. I did not find myself there. All right. I had to work. My first degree was in economics. All right. So my first degree was in economics. I did economics in university, 4 years, graduated in Nigeria, started working as a management consultant. All right. Now, working as a management consultant was when I made a conscious decision to transition into tech. Okay. So it took me almost 2 years, guys. All right. If not 2 years, if not more than 2 years, it took me about 2 years to transition to getting my first role in the tech space. But now, upon reflection, all right, was where we decided why should it have taken me 2 years to get a job in a tech space? Why should it take me 2 years to get a job, my first job in the tech space? And that's why we started analytics to see how we can also help other Africans, okay, get into the tech space in lesser duration of time. All right, because it shouldn't take you 2 years to get a job. All right, in the tech space, especially as a data analyst, data engineer, data scientist, and any other career paths that we offer. All right. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. All right, so jumping straight into what we are doing today. Jumping straight into it. All right. Um, we're going to be doing 5 things today. Okay. First is build simple ETL pipeline. So we're going to be doing something very interesting. People talk about pipeline. What is this pipeline? So that's what we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be building a simple ETL pipeline. All right. Does anybody know what ETL stands for? Let me test people. Does anybody know what ETL stands for? So do you know what ETL stands for, guys? No. Okay, don't worry. I'll explain it. So it is E, all right, and there's T and there's L. All right. So the E stands for extract. Okay. The T, on the other hand, stands for transform. Okay. And L stands for load. Okay, so extract, transform, and load. Okay, so don't worry, we're going to do it today. All right, you will understand better when we get to the practical class. All right, the next part we're going to talk about is the pathway to becoming a data engineer. That's the next thing we're going to be looking at. The pathway to becoming a data engineer and securing a job. Because you don't want to just learn data engineering for the fun of it. All right. You don't want to go through the rigorous learning of learning becoming a data engineer. And then that's it. You just hang it in your room or you just have it at the back of your mind that you know data engineering. The whole essence is to get a better job, to get a better pay, all right, so upskill yourself to get promotion or whatever the case might be for you. All right. The other part is remote. We're going to talk about remote full-time opportunities. So you want to work remotely, you're in Nigeria, you want to work for a firm in Canada, US, and so on, in Dubai, for example. You want to work remotely for an international firm. Where are these remote jobs? We're going to talk about remote full-time opportunities. And also we're going to be exploring tech relocation opportunities. Tech relocation opportunities. So once you finish learning data engineering, all right, and you want to relocate with yourself, your family, what opportunities are there for you? We're also going to explore that today. All right. Now, number 4 and 5, okay, is a special one. So if you wait to the end of the session, all right, you will get to hear about a special offer I have for you. I have a special offer for you. All right. Then number 5 is Analytics Growth Internship Program. Our growth internship program is one of the reasons why we have a lot of success with people transitioning into the tech space. Okay, so I'm going to shed more light on the Analytics Growth Internship Program. So you wait till the end of the session. All right, you get the recording. All right, you get to hear about the special offer I have for you, and you also get to hear about the Growth Internship Program. Okay, so these are the 5 things we're going to be doing today. But the first thing, which is I think that's what we'll do the next 1 hour plus or thereabout, just about 1 hour, all right, is to build a simple ETL pipeline. Now, I'm very sure you guys have never, some of you have never heard of it before. It is extract, transform, and load. We'll talk about that in a practical sense, in next minutes. All right. So let's jump straight to number 1, the masterclass, the practical hands-on masterclass, walking you through a real-life project on building a simple ETL data pipeline. All right. Now, so who is ready? Let me start. Let me see the people that are ready. If you are ready, put a 1 in the chat. Okay. If you're ready to learn so much about data engineering today, put a 1 in the chat. Hey, Epiphany, I think I love your energy. And would you also? Your ones are usually the all right, fantastic. I love this. I love this. I love you guys. Honestly speaking, this is the reasons why we are doing this particular session. The energy, the excitement is what really gets us pumped for the session. So, let's have a good time together today. Let's have a good time. All right. So now, before we jump into before we go jump into the project for today, all right, I want to walk you through something, the importance of data engineering. Let's talk about the importance of data engineering. Before we start talking practical, all right? Let's talk about the role of a data engineer, okay? Now, since an imagination, let's imagine now, all right? We're going to, perform like some kind of imagination task, okay? So imagine you are a data analyst or scientist, either a data analyst or a data scientist. Just imagine that you are one. Okay? in a bank, and you need to track transaction via the bank's ATM. So this is number one. Mobile apps, number two, and POS, number three. So you are in a bank, you work for a bank, okay? You're a data analyst or you're a data scientist. Now the CEO comes out to you to say, if Stephen Lawrence, or let's say Omowumi, all right, please, we have. I want to know the transact. I want to be able to track the transactions, you know, from our customers based on ATM mobile app and POS. I want to know when people use the ATM the most. I want to know when people use mobile apps the most. I want to know when people use POS. I want to know the time of day they use these applications. I want to know, I just want to see patterns of how people make use of these three platforms, to complete transactions or to initiate transactions. Okay. So, those are the things that happen. Those are the things you want the CEO wants to find out, or whoever in the business wants to find out. So you are a data analyst. This is you over here. Okay. So this is you here. All right. You're the data analyst. All right. Over here, you have the ATM, number one. All right. You have number two here, the mobile app, and you have number three here, the POS. Now you are over here, okay? So meaning that you as a data analyst, you need to connect to these three databases. So you see these ones, the ATM transactions, okay, are stored in a database called, let's call this ATM database, okay? We'll call this ATM database, okay? We'll call this mobile app, okay? Mobile app, okay, database. We'll call this one POS database. Okay. So you see the ATM transaction, they store all the data from the ATM, all the transactions in the ATM is stored in a database called ATM database. All the transactions from mobile app is stored in another database called mobile app database. All the transaction from POS is stored in a POS database. Now, if you don't understand what a database is, it basically means a place where data is being stored. Okay, a database it's somewhere, okay, where data is being stored. Take for example on your mobile phone. Okay, on your mobile phone, all your when you call people, it is stored where? In your contacts, in that your call log, under your phone log. Okay. When you text people messages, where is it stored? It is stored in text messages. So you have two different places where things are being stored. Your calls are stored in phone log. Your text messages are stored in text messages, two different places. Okay. Your pictures, where are they stored? In your gallery. So you see, everything is everything is compartmentalized. Okay. So your phone logs are stored in phone logs. Your text messages in text messages. In the photos, pictures are stored in gallery. Your email in your email app. So everything is stored in those places. The same thing in a database in an organization. All right. ATM transactions is stored in ATM database. Mobile app, okay, all mobile app transaction also stored in mobile app database. So I'm just going to go back, okay. POS also stored in POS transactions, okay, POS database. But now you are the data analyst, okay. You are the data analyst, all right, and you want to track all the transactions from these three database. All right. So you see, let's say the data analyst. So you're using Power BI. Okay. Let's say the data analyst is using a tool called Power BI or Tableau. Let's say Tableau. Any one of them. Okay. All right. So this data analyst would need to connect to these three database. Okay. All right. This data analyst will need to connect to these three databases. We need to connect to these three databases all at once. All right. Now, obviously, there's a lot of limitations with this. A lot of limitation. Number one is this data analyst, okay? The data analyst will need to deal with a lot of transactions, okay? All right. All right. And because of this lot of transactions, what will make it? It will now become very slow. All right. Very slow. Your dashboard or whatever reports, all right, whatever reports you build, reports, okay, whatever reports you build will now it will be very slow because of this big chunk of transaction. All right, you're connecting directly to the database, which will mean that your report, whatever report you build, will probably take 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours to refresh. Okay, so lots of transaction. Number two, duplication. All right, you can have duplicate data. All right, you would have missing data. You would have a lot of what missing data or missing data. Okay, you would have incorrect data. Incorrect. Okay, so incorrect. So there are a lot of issues, connecting directly to the database. There are a lot of issues you're going to have if you connect directly to the database. So what happens is the data engineer will come inside. The data engineer will come inside, all right, to do this extract, transform, and load. To perform what we call extract, transform, and load. All right. So what the data engineer would do would the data analyst, okay, the data analyst does not need to know anything about these data sources. The data analyst they don't need to even know that they have three databases or anything like that. Okay. They don't need to know. All right. The data engineer is that particular person. The data engineer, okay, all right, data engineer, all right, is this person that is responsible for extracting the data from the where? From the ATM database. ATM database. Would extract the data from the ATM database, pulling it up, okay? Would extract the data from the ATM database, from the mobile app database, okay? Okay, and the POS database. So the data engineer will extract the data from these three places. Okay, will extract the data. Okay, now after extraction, okay, will extract the data from the database. Now this transformation, that's where you now start to deal with missing data. Okay, missing data. All right, duplicate data. Okay, duplicate data. What else? Incorrect data. Okay, we'll basically just clean up the data and ensure that it is clean, it is in good format, is in a good format. All right, and thereafter, after cleaning everything up, okay, the data engineer will now load it into what we call a data warehouse. Okay, all right, we'll load it into what we call a data warehouse. Okay, all right. Can you guys hear me well? Can you guys hear me well? Sorry, just give me a second, please, guys. Just to confirm if you guys can hear me well. Okay? All right. Yes, yes, yes. I just saw somebody saying that I should speak louder. Okay. So you might want to turn up the volume of your phone. All right. All right. So you see, that's what the data engineer. So you see, data analysts, these data analysts, okay, they don't need this analysts don't even have the skill sets to be able to perform with this extract, transform, and load, especially when you're dealing with what we call big data. All right, big data. But imagine a transaction on mobile app. Okay, so on the mobile app, you send money, you receive money. All right, so many transactions you do. You go to the supermarket, you use your card to make payments, you buy credits, there's so many things you do on it. Only you, an individual, do you know how many transactions you do on a daily basis? All right. So imagine thousands of customers, using the same platform. All right. So you see, businesses are starting to work with what we call big data. And the tools, okay, the tools the data analyst and the data scientist would use, okay, well, the data scientist would be able to work with big data to an extent, all right? But the data analysts, for example, don't have the capacity. The tools they use is not built to handle big data, all right? It's not built to handle big data. That's where the data engineer comes in to perform, extract the data, load it into, extract the data, clean the data, missing data, duplicate data, incomplete data, then load it into what we call a data warehouse. All right. The data warehouse is what we're going to be working with today. So this is kind of what we're going to be doing today. All right. A practical, real life example of what we call extract, transform, and load. That's what we're going to be doing today. So if you still don't understand, don't worry. I'm still going to explain it again using a real life scenario. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing today. All right. So that's just a typical example of what we call extract, transform, and load. So today we're going to be looking at how we are building a simple ETL pipeline. Like I've said, guys, please sit back, relax, and just listen. That's all I want you to do. Sit back, relax, and listen. That's all I want you to do. All right. So now let's jump straight into it. Okay. All the data, all the tools you're going to be working with today. Okay, all right. All the tools, all the data, everything you're going to be doing is in the material. You are going to get the material after the class. So you don't need to do anything. That's why I just want you to listen. All right. So the data we're going to be working with today is software technology employee data. Okay. Software technologies employee data. So you see, click here to download. Okay. Click here to download. So once you click here, once you get the material and you click here, it will download automatically. All right. Into your device. All right. So once you get the material, you click here to download. All right. It's going to download it into your device. Okay. Now, the next thing you need is Python. Okay, we're going to be working with Python for today's class. Okay, this particular place, when you click here, all right, it's going to take you to a video that I will walk you through how to download and install Python on your machine. So if I click here to watch, all right, you see this is the video here. The video here will walk you through how you can download and install Python or Anaconda onto your machine. So I'll walk you through every single step of how to download and install, Python into your machine. So you don't need to stress yourself. Don't worry, everything will be done for you. I've created videos, tutorials to walk you through the entire process. Now, the other thing you need for this program, for this project is Postgres SQL, PostgreSQL. So how to download and install PostgreSQL. Also, I've done a video for you on how to download and install PostgreSQL. So Adesa did this, you see it here, how to download and install PostgreSQL. So everything has been done for you. All you need to do in this class, guys, is just listen. All I want you to do is listen. All right? That's all I want you to do. So three things, like I said, you need the data, click here to download. Once you get the material, click here to download. You need Python. Also, click here to watch how to download and install Python. Now, the next thing is PostgreSQL. Click here to also do what? To watch how to download and install PostgreSQL. So all the tools that you're going to be using for this project is available for you. All right. So for this session today, please just sit back and listen. Okay. Just sit back and listen. All right. This is what we're going to be doing today. Okay. This is the project we're going to be working on today. So it's a simple ETL pipeline. All right. So exactly what we're going to do today is this is the employee data. All right. This is the employee data. Okay. All right. This employee data is a CSV file. Okay. It's a CSV file. Sorry. All right. It's a CSV file. Okay. CSV stands for, don't worry, you don't need to, it's a type of file. So you have Excel file, you have an Excel file, you have PNG, you have JPEG, and so on and so forth. So CSV stands for comma, okay, separated, okay, okay, values. Okay, so CSV, comma, separated values. That's what it stands for. So it's a type of file. Okay, it's like it can open in Excel, and I'm going to show you the kind of data it is. It can open in Excel, but they call it comma separated values. All right. So we're going to be extracting the data from this particular what we call a data source. Okay, this is what we call a data source. Okay. All right. All right. We're going to be extracting the data from this place. All right. We're going to do some transformation. Okay. So we're going to deal with we're going to deal with missing data in this class today. we're going to work with missing data. We're going to work with duplicate data. Okay, duplicate data. And if we have enough time, we'll do some visualization. All right, all right, visualization. All right, or what we call EDA. Okay, so EDA stands for exploratory. All right, exploratory data. Okay, analysis. Okay, exploratory data analysis. So, but for the essence for this class, transformation basically means you're trying to clean your data. All right, you're trying to clean your data. Okay, so when you extract data, okay, you would have to do some. You need to perform some transformation. Means clean. It's like you going to the market. Okay, you go to the market. You want to cook jollof rice. Okay, you go to the market to buy pepper. To buy meat, chicken, and all that. So meaning that you've gone to the data, you've gone to the market, which is the source. Okay, that's the data source that you have here. All right. You've gone to the market to buy raw materials. Okay. When you bring it into your house, what would you do? Okay. When you go to the market to buy these raw materials and you get to the house, what would you do? What's the first thing you would do? You need to clean up these materials that you bought. So the tomato, the pepper, the meat, even your rice, you have to wash it. Do you understand? You have to clean it up. So in the data engineering space, that cleaning process, it means that we need to deal with missing data, duplicate data. We need to do what we call EDA, which stands for exploratory data analysis. So when we clean our data and it is looking good, okay, what would we now do? We'll now load it into a data warehouse. Okay, all right, we'll now load it into a data warehouse. Okay, data warehouse. Okay, so the data warehouse we're going to be using today is Postgres SQL. Okay, we're going to be using is Postgres SQL. So first thing, let's examine. The first thing we're going to do is the first number one. Let's look at this file. Let's look at the data source. Let's take a look at it first of all. All right, let's take a look at the data source. Okay, so I'm going to go to my folder. So I have it in my download. So I've downloaded mine. Okay, so I have mine in my downloads. So you see this is my download. Once you click on that, once you click on it, it will download automatically. All right, all right. So this is it. Yeah, this is the file. Okay, so I'm going to open it up, double click, and just to confirm the type of file it is, you see it here, Microsoft Excel CSV, comma, separated value file, CSV, comma, separated value. So if I open it now, all right, I'm going to minimize this. So this is the file, this is the data. All right, this is the data we are going to be dealing with. This is the data we are going to be dealing with. So this is an employee data for this particular organization, Software Technology. Okay, so we have employee ID. Okay, we have the department of the employee. We have the region of the employee, education, gender, recruitment channel, number of training, the age of the employee, the previous year rating, the length of service, awards won, and average training score. Take, for example, the HR analyst within the organization needs this data for further analysis. Okay, they need this data for further analysis. What would happen? Okay, what do you think will happen? Okay, the data engineer needs to make this data available for the HR analyst. So, all right, so let's walk. So this is the data essentially that we're going to be working with. Okay, so let's go straight into Python. Okay, so we're going to be using Python also. So I'm going to bring up Python. Just give me a second. All right. So this is Python. Once you download and you install Python, this will be your home page. All right. So it's Jupyter Notebook we're using. Okay. So once you download and install Python, just search for Jupyter on your machine, on your laptop. Search for Jupyter, and this will come up. Okay. So I'm going to create a new file. New. You see new here. All right. Python 3. I'm going to create a new file. All right, because I'm going to walk you through everything we are going to be doing today. I'm going to walk you through every single thing we are going to be doing today. So the file name, I'm going to rename the file. Okay, so currently it is Untitled 8. All right, Untitled 8. So I'm going to name it as October Masterclass. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to name it as simple ETL pipeline. You can name it anything you want, honestly. I'm just calling it October Masterclass Simple ETL Pipeline. And I'll click rename to rename the file. Okay. All right. So are we good? Are we on the same page? Are we on the same page, guys? All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Are we on the same page? Yes. Okay. All right. Fantastic. Like I said, once you get the material, once you get the recording, you get the material, you will be able to do this project. And I want you to try this project out by yourself. And you see how easy this thing is. All right. So October Masterclass, simple ETL pipeline. We've renamed our file. Okay. So the next thing I want to walk you through, okay, is I want to document some small process for you to see exactly what we are doing. All right. I want to document some of the things we are going to be doing today. Okay, so I'll click here, click into the box. Instead of code, I don't want to write a code. I want to document. I want to do some documentation. All right. So I'll change it from code to what we call a markdown. To what we call a markdown. I'll click on markdown. Okay. So now in this one, okay, I'll use hashtag. So the bigger the number of hashtag, the smaller and bolder it is. So no, the one hashtag means very big heading. So if I write project building, it's simple, or building an ETL pipeline, ETL data pipeline. Okay. So now one hashtag, okay, means bold, very bold, text. It's the biggest one. Which one hashtag means the biggest. That's the biggest. If I add a second one, you see the size is reduced. This is two. See one, two hashtag, what happens? It reduces. Three hashtag, it will reduce. Four hashtag, it will reduce. Five, it will reduce. You see? So for this particular one, it depends. It's just text. All right. It's just like, when you're writing notebook, when you're writing in secondary school. All right. And this is why I talk about documentation. All right. So with these two hashtag, that's a big header. Okay. If I use three, it will reduce one, it will reduce a little. So I'll keep it at two. All right. I don't want it to be too small. All right. Now, in terms of documentation, we're going to be carrying out 3 steps. Okay, let's say 4 steps. Step one. Okay. The first thing we are going to do, step one. All right. Step one. Step. All right. So we're going to be doing 4 steps. Step one. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is extract the data. We want to make the data available for the analyst. Okay. The data currently is in that CSV file. The data currently is in the CSV file. All right. So we need to extract the data from the CSV file. Okay. It's like you want to create orange juice. Okay. What would you do? You would need to extract the juice from the orange. All right. So we want to extract the data from that file that we have. We need to extract the data. So extract data from the CSV file, all right, into what we call a pandas data frame. Okay. All right. That's step one. That's the first thing we want to do. I'll explain everything. Okay. Step two. All right. Step two, we need to transform the data. Transform the data. All right. So I'll put it here. That is to say, who remembers that? That is to say, what's the continuation? But anyways, if you don't know it, don't worry. If you know, you know. Okay. So that is to say, clean up the data. That is clean the data. Okay. All right. Transform the data. All right. So we're going to deal with, all right, deal with missing data, missing and duplicate data. Duplicate. Okay. Step three. All right. Step three. Thereafter, we're going to create a database. All right. Okay. And the next one is to, which is the last one, step 4. We are going to do what? Load the clean data. Load the clean data into the database. Okay, so 4 steps, 4 simple steps. All right. So 4 simple steps. Step 1, extract the data. Step 2, transform the data. Step 3, create the database. Step 4, that data that you just finished cleaning, load it into the database. Okay? And that's what exactly we are going to be doing today. So to run your cell, to run, you see this button here, you can click this button to run your code. Okay? All right? Or you could, all right, or you could, let's say, press shift, shift. All right. I'll put it in capital letter shift, shift plus enter together, press together. All right. Press it together to run your code. All right. So you can press here to run your code, but you can also press shift plus enter together. Press it together, not one after the other. Press it together. So if I press shift and enter, you see it moved to a new line. Okay. So let me write it. Let me write it again. I'll double click. So to run your code. Okay. So that's exactly what you need to press. Shift enter together to run your code. All right. So, the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to import some libraries. Okay. So we need libraries in Python. Okay. So you see Python is a tool. Python is a tool that anybody can use. Okay. The data scientists would use Python for machine learning, all right, for computer vision, for natural language processing, for data science activities. The same Python, a software developer would use Python to create what we call mobile app. Okay, to create mobile app, to create applications, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, the data engineer also would use the same Python to create what we call data pipelines and to do your extraction, transformation, and all that. The reason why different people can use the same tool is because of what we call libraries. Okay, is because of what we call a library. Okay, so you see there are different libraries. Python has so many libraries. Okay, all right. So the software engineer or the software developer would have his own library, something like Django. All right. So they would use that library to build mobile app. Okay. The data scientists also have what we call scikit-learn for machine learning. Okay, and so on and so forth. They have computer vision, computer vision, which is CB2, okay? And the data engineer also have their own libraries. So, all right, the libraries we're going to be working with today, all right, is the first one we're going to be working with is what we call pandas, all right? Pandas, all right? So the first one we're going to be working with today is called pandas. So we use pandas, I'm going to explain it here, all right? We use pandas for data transformation. So, okay, all right. So let me make it easy for you. We use pandas for data extraction, okay, slash transformation. All right. We use it for more, but beginner level. Just we use pandas for data extraction and transformation. All right. So we use it for and many more things. Manipulation. Okay. We use it for data manipulation. We use it for data wrangling. If you've ever heard of data wrangling, we use it for data analysis. All right. Analysis, and so on. Let us put it there. etc. All right. So we use pandas for data extraction to extract the data. We use pandas for data transformation. We use pandas for data manipulation. We use pandas for data wrangling. We use pandas for data analysis. All right. Now, the next library we're going to be working with is PsycopG2, PsycopG2. Okay. Now, this PsycopG2, okay, we use it for connecting, okay, all right, for connecting Python, okay, to Postgres SQL database. All right, Postgres database. But you see, currently Python is on its own. All right, so we need to be able to connect to Postgres. I've not shown you Progress. Let me show you Postgres. This is Postgres. This is a database. Okay, this is Postgres. You see it's a Postgres SQL. This is a database. All right, so this is a database. So currently, this database is on its own. All right, it's standing on its own. Nobody is disturbing it. Python over here is on its own. So this cycle PG2 that we have here will enable a connection between Python, this environment, this Python Jupyter notebook, all right, which will enable the connection between your Python file and the database. Okay, so you have a database where you want to store your data. Okay, so in order for you to be able to store your data in the database, you need to create a connection between the two of them. All right. So just take this as, you have a tap in front of you have a tap maybe by the kitchen. Okay. You have a tap outside the house, very close to your kitchen. All right. But you want to wash your car in front of the house. The tap closest to you is in front of the kitchen, which is quite a little distance away. All right. So rather than taking the bucket manually to go and fetch water from the tap and bring it to the front of the house, rather than doing that manually, what would you do? You get a pipe, you get a hose or a pipe. Let's say the pipe. Okay. You get a pipe and you can connect to the tap. Okay. All right. And just on it down. And that tap pipe, okay, will just be constantly flowing, taking water from that tap to the front of the house for you to wash your car. Do you understand? So that pipe, okay, is the connection. That's the connection we're working with now. All right. That pipe, okay, that will connect the tap in front of the kitchen to the front of the house. That pipe that is doing a connection. That's exactly what we need. So you see, Postgres is on its own. All right. Postgres is on its own. No connection currently between the two of them. But we want to move data from this our pipe, from this particular Python script. We want to move it from here into the database. So we need a connection. We need a pipe. And that's why they call it a pipeline. It's as simple as that. So you see this by Cycle PG2 is what we are going to be using to create that connection, that pipeline. All right. That will take the data from our Python script and load it into this database that we have over here. All right. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. All right. So the last one we're going to be using, all right, would use from, don't worry if this thing sounds a bit, some of these libraries sound a bit, funny to you. Don't worry, you'll get used to them. All right, so SQL Alchemy, I'm going to import what we call create engine. Okay, so this one is to efficiently, all right, to efficiently manage, okay, and reuse the database connection. All right. So some of you are asking questions in the chat. I might not be able to do it side by side what we're doing. All right. So, but just if you wait to the end, you can ask all the questions and I'll take the questions. Okay. Apologies. Okay. All right. I can't just do the two of them because we'll likely take so much time. So just jot your questions down. Okay. And ask me after the session. I'll be happy to take all your questions. Okay. All right. So these are the three libraries we are going to be using today. These are the three libraries we are going to be using: Pandas, PyCompG2, SQL Alchemy, and we are going to be using Create Engine. Okay, so from SQL Alchemy, we extracted Create Engine. All right, and we're going to be using that to manage and reuse the database connection. So this is the connection. So we always want to reuse it, manage, switch it on, switch it off. Okay, so you see that tab in front of your kitchen. Okay, all right. When you connect your pipe to it and you take it to the front of the house, so now you could use on the tap in front in the kitchen. You can on the tap and water will flow to the front of the house. Okay, well, you want to be easy. You want to easily switch it on and switch it off, switch it on and switch it off. At your will, whenever you need it, you want to be able to reuse it, manage that pipeline. All right, all right. So that's exactly what this Create Engine is doing for you. Okay. As we go on, you get to see exactly what we're talking about. And that's why I just want you to listen. Okay. All right. So I'm going to run that, and that run perfectly. You see the number one. If I have an error, I will get an error, and you get to use it. Okay. All right. So you see, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. All right. So let's start with step one. I'm going to convert this into a markdown, so you always understand exactly what we are using, what we are doing. Okay. So I'm going to say, I want to write a text. I'll use 3 hashtags, and I'm going to say step one. All right. What's my step one again? Extract data from the CSV file. That's what step one. Okay. So step one, I'll put it here so you understand. And I'll run it. Shift enter to run and takes it in. So step one, let's do step one. Let's extract the data from that Excel file. Okay. All right. Let's extract data from the CSV file into a pandas data frame. So this is pandas. Okay. All right. So rather than writing pandas every single time, pandas is a long word. Okay. Pandas is a long word. Pandas. Okay. So what we usually do as data engineers, data scientists is we use what we call an alias as what PD. So this is alias PD. So just take it as my name is Ifemena. Ifemena is a long word, it's a long name. Right? So rather than saying Ifemena, call me EF for short. Okay? Rather than calling me Ifemena, call me EF for short. You get me? So that's as simple as that. So rather than saying pandas, call me PD for short. Rather than calling me Ayodele, call me AY. Rather than calling me Michael, call me Mike. Do you understand? It's shorter. So when you see this as PD, it basically means alias PD. Pandas alias PD. So don't call me pandas again. Call me PD. That's what it means. All right. So I'm gonna run that cell again. So you see, I forgot to change that. All right. So that's why I have import pandas as PD. So rather than saying pandas, I'll just call it PD. Sharp, sharp. Okay. It's easier to write. Okay. All right. So I'm going to create a variable called data. Okay. So data equals to, and I'll say td dot read underscore CSV, open and close brackets. So read CSV. Okay. So if it is an Excel file, if the data is in Excel, I would use read underscore Excel. Okay. If it is another data format like JSON, okay, I'll read underscore JSON. But the data is in CSV, like we've seen in the what do you call it? We've seen in the PowerPoint presentation. It's a CSV file, so that's why I'm using read underscore CSV. Let me zoom in a bit to see if you guys can see properly. Is this better or before was better? Which one is better? All right, which one is better? This or the previous one? Is this better? Both. Okay. All right. Okay. So anyone is good then. All right. So read underscore. Okay, this is better. Okay. All right. PD does read CSV. Okay. All right. All right. So let's do this. When we look at this, okay. All right. When we look at this, we need to bring in that file. Okay. So this file currently is in my download folder. This file currently, all right, this file, Softwork Technologies, is currently in my download folder. I have the data currently stored in my download folder. So now you see, in any organization you find yourself, it might be on your local, the data might be, in, anyways, when I get there, I'll explain it again. Let's just walk through this particular one, right? So the data currently is in my download folder, but I need to be able to connect to this file and extract the data. I need to be able to connect this Python script, I need to be able to connect to this file and extract the data that is currently in this file. I need to extract it, like, I need to suck it, take it out of there. Do you understand? So now I need to be able to connect. So I have said pd.read CSV. So I need to provide what we call a file path. What we call a file path. Let me write it there for you so you always remember. All right? Get the file path, what we call file path to the document. Okay? Or to the document or data. Let's just anyone you want. Okay? All right. So we need to get the file path. And I'll show you 2 ways to get the file path. 2 ways to get the file path. Now, if you're using Windows 10, Okay, if you're using Windows 10, okay, it's easy to get the file paths. If you're using like Windows 10 or above, it's easy to get the file paths. All you need to do is right click, okay, and you'll see copy as path. Simple. All you need to just do is right click and you see copy as path. Now, if you right click and you don't see it, don't be alarmed, don't be scared. Don't worry, I got you. Say if a man got you, if a man got you. So if you right click and you don't see copy as path, don't be alarmed. Okay? All right. See, right click. If you right click and you don't see it, do this. Okay. All right. All you need to do is press shift on your keyboard, press it down. Don't take your hand off the shift key. Just press your shift key and press right click. Okay. Simple thing. Press, click on the file, press shift and right click. You would see copy as path. It will give you more. You see, it will see give you this copy as path. So all you need to do, if you click right click and you don't see copy as path, hold your shift key on your keyboard and right click. You would see copy as path. Okay, just hold it down and right click on the same file. You will see copy as path. So just right click and copy as path. That's all you need to do. So that's the file part. So I'll come here, all right? Because I am reading the file, because I want to extract the file, I want to extract the data, I want to read the file, I'll put a small letter R and I will paste. I will paste. You know, I copied the path already. I will paste the file part. So you see, this is the file part, all right? The data currently is in my user, ePro, inside my downloads, is in my download folder, and this is the name of the file, .csv. So this is the file part. So like I said, you don't need to stress yourself. All you need to do is right click and copy file parts, okay? Just copy it, or click on shift, right click, and you see it here, copy as path. Those are the two things you can actually do, all right? So once you have that, all right, once I have the data, I would say what? View the top 5 rows. All right, view the top 5 rows. And to do that, I would use data.head. So this particular data, okay, this thing will extract the data, okay, this particular code, this code here, sorry, this code here, all right, this code that I have here will go to my download folder. See, Python is very interesting. All right, I'm sending Python on an errand. I'm saying Python, go to my download folder. In my download folder, I have a document that is called software technologies. All right, Python, go to my download folder. I have a document called software technologies. All right. And I want you to what we read or extract the data from that document. Okay. Go to my download folder. There's a document called software technologies. Extract the data, okay, and put it inside what we call a variable. This variable. Okay. So now this variable is my data. Okay. So in order for me to see the data, okay, all right, I would click on data.end to view the top 5 rows. Let me just do it for you. You'll see it here. Okay. All right. To see the top 5 rows. Sorry, let me just exit put some cells minutes. All right. So you see, this is the data. Okay. This is the data in my Excel sheet, in that Excel sheet I showed you earlier. Okay. So if I go back now, let's take a look at the Excel sheet. Let me look for it. Okay. Let me open it up. Okay. Because I'm trying to open up the file so you see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, yes. So this is the data in CSV. Okay, the data was stored in CSV. Okay, so you see employee 87, you see it here 8724, technology, region 26, bachelors, okay, male, and so on and so forth. So you see the data that was in CSV file before, that was in CSV, all right, has been extracted. I have extracted the data from the CSV file. Nothing is wrong with that CSV file. No. The CSV file is still the same thing, it's still intact. The CSV file is still intact. Nothing happens to it. Because I extracted the data, okay, does not mean that that file is empty. Okay, so the file is still there. All right, the file still exists. The file, nothing happens to the file. All what Pandas has done, or what this particular thing, what I've done, is just to go there, take a look at the file, and extract the data. All right, so the file is still there, okay, but the data is also in Python. So it's an interesting way it works, okay? Okay, so that's exactly what it is. Okay, so I would now we're looking at the top five rows. Currently looking at the top five rows in the data. That's exactly what we do. Oh, that's what we just did. So now, if I want to look at the bottom five rows, let me see. So view the bottom, okay, five rows. What would it be, guys? All right. What would I write? What would it be? Data dot what? Data dot. So ed is giving me the top five rows. What will be bottom? It's tail. It's actually tail. Yes, it's tail. So I don't if you remember, I shall be the head and not the tail. Okay, that's a very popular thing we say in Nigeria and I guess across the world as Christians or anything. All right, I shall be the head and not the tail. So if you remember that description, head, tail, it will give you what? All right, the bottom five rows. The bottom five rows. So you see, head will give you the top five rows. Bottom will give you the bottom, your tail will give you the bottom five rows. So this is the ending part of the data. So the last employee is 23,489, and this is all about the employee essentially. Okay. All right. So that's exactly. I think I need to start giving people a award. I need to start giving out, some kind of reward for you answering your question, for answering my question. I need to give out reward. All right. So this is, we are taking a look at the data. So what we have done now is we have extracted the data. Extraction. See, just one line of code, just one line. So when I say, we need to do ETL, we need to perform data extraction, or we need to do data, that is just one line. We just extracted the data in one line. Do you understand? We just needed to extract the data. And that's the first thing we did. We just extracted. So it's just pd.read CSV and we specified the name of the file to extract data from. That's it. So step one done. Step one done and dusted. Okay. Step one, extraction. Extracting the data from the CSV file has been done and dusted. All right. Now let's look at step two. I'm going to change it from code to markdown. All right. So code. All right. Step three. Step two, I mean. So let's take a look at step two, which is transformation. Okay. Transformation. Okay. So I'm going to paste, shift enter, and boom. So transform the data. Now I want to take a look at cleaning the data. So this data now currently, let's start with duplicate data first. First of all, let's take a look at the data and identify if there are duplicate data. All right. Let's take a look at the data and confirm if there are duplicate data. All right. Duplicate data means that one data appearing multiple times, two or more times. All right. So let's say I'm looking at the attendance for today. And I see that, let's say Benjamin fills the data, fills the attendance sheets 7 times. Benjamin is a duplicate. Or even if Benjamin appears twice, it means Benjamin filled the attendance sheets twice. All right. So that's a duplicate. So I don't need the two information. I just need one. Okay. So you need to be able to identify duplicates. So if people fill the attendance sheet, like the one in class today, all right, they fill the attendance sheet 4 times, all right. Another person fills it 5 times. Another person fills it 2 times. At the end of the session, when we want to calculate how many people attended the session, all right, it's likely going to give us like 200 or 500. Let's say 500, okay? Whereas only 250 people appeared. So you see, there are a lot of duplicates in the data. So if you're doing your analysis on 500 people, all right, it might be misleading. Okay, it's definitely misleading. So what you want to do is to identify, first of all, are there duplicate data? All right, and we are dealing with employee data. Okay, so we want to find out, are there duplicate employee records in the data? Are there? Okay, so let's find out first of all. So what we're going to do is a simple data dot duplicated. Okay, duplicated. Okay, and I'll open and close the brackets, and I'll put a sum to add it up together. Okay, so are there any duplicates? If there are, sum up all the duplicates in the data, sum them up together. So I'll shift and enter to run, and you see zero duplicated data. Zero. There are zero duplicated data. There is no duplicates in the data. So every single row is unique. Every employee record is unique. All right. So let's play. Let's do something interesting because there's no point doing transformation. Okay, if there is nothing to transform. Okay. All right. If there is nothing to transform. Okay. What's the essence of not doing transformation? So let's intentionally go to the data now. I'll intentionally do it. This is not best practice, okay? All right, but just for you to see that this thing works, I would intentionally add duplicate data. So I'll take like the last 5 rows. Let's say the last 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I'll copy them. I'll copy it, Control C to copy, and I'll paste it down here, Control V to paste. All right. So you see this record now, these records are duplicated. All right. So the last 5 rows, I have duplicated them. So they appear twice. So this person now, um, all right, this particular person, okay, appears twice. Okay. This particular person appears twice. So this particular employee record is duplicated. All right, you see it here 53478, 53478, legal, region 2, below secondary, male, sourcing, 1, 1, 24, 3, 3, 1. Basically the record is duplicated. All right, so let's work with a little bit of duplicated data. So you see what a data engineer does. Okay, all right, I'll close that one down. Okay, so I'll come back and extract that data. I just made adjustment to that data. Okay, I copied and pasted. I created duplicates data for us to explore how to deal with duplicate data. All right. So shift run. Let's run. I will come back here to run again. I will come back to this part to extract the data again. All right. All right. So I'll run this one. Okay. And now let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this duplicated data. I copied and pasted 5 rows. So I have 5 records that are duplicated. Okay, I'll run it. And you see now, this particular code is now telling me that I have 5 duplicates in my data. So this particular code I have here is telling me I have 5 duplicate records in my data. So a data engineer would explore to find out rather than, just clean the data. This is the cleaning phase. So we need to be able to deal with what we call duplicate data. All right. And I did it manually anyways, but in real world, if there's no duplicate data, you don't need to start chasing, you must clean duplicate data. All right. So data.duplicate.sum will give you the total number of data or total number of records that were duplicated. All right. So what I'm going to do next now is very simple. We need to remove the duplicate data. All right. So I need to what? Remove duplicate, okay, records. All right. Remove duplicate records because I don't need them. Okay. Let's say, like I said every time, like I've said, if we're doing attendance and you fill the attendance 5 times a day, you fill the attendance 5 times. I don't need 5 records of you filling the attendance. I only need one. So you fill the form 5 times. All right. I don't need 5 records of you. All right. I only just need one. Okay. So out of 5, I'll choose one and delete the remaining 4. So out of 5, I will choose one and delete the remaining 4. So out of these 5 records, okay, I want to remove, the duplicate data. That's all I need to do. So I would say data dot drop duplicates. Okay, dot drop duplicate, not drop duplicates. Okay, all right. And I would say what? Keep the first one. Keep equals to first. All right. So one thing you guys need to understand for this session today, you don't need to be the expert. You don't need all you need. As I say, just sit back, relax, and listen. That's all you need to do. If you are just sit back, relax, and listen. That's all you need to do. Not you're not. I'm not asking you to do any coding. Just sit back, relax, and listen. That's all. Just like I'm explaining something to you. This is what a data engineer would do. And this is exactly why we're having the session. Sit back, relax, and just listen. That's all I want you to do. If you have any question, please put it down. I would address the question at the end of the session. All right? Just don't worry. Okay? So to remove the duplicate records, we need to remove them because we don't need duplicates in our data. Okay? So what do? We'll drop duplicates, okay? And we'll keep the first one. Okay? So you can either keep the first, okay, the first or the last. Okay? You can either keep the first. So if the data appears 5 times, so there was the first time, let's say attendance again for today. Let's say you fill the attendance at 8 o'clock on the dot. Okay, you fill the next one at 8:30. You fill the next one at 8:35. Do you understand? I don't need the one at 8:30 and 8:35. I'll just keep the first one that you filled. Okay, I'll just keep the first one that you filled. Okay, so the one at 8:30 and the one at 8:35 is void. I don't need it. Okay, so when you fill the attendance 3 times, one at 8 o'clock, one at 8:30, and one at 8:35. I don't need one at 8:30 and 8:35. I'll just keep the first one and remove the other two. All right. In the other way around, I could also say keep the last one. Okay. So remove the one at 8 o'clock and remove the one at 8:30. Keep the only last one, which is the one at 8:35. So you can specify. I usually like to go with the first one. Okay. So it really doesn't matter. You can choose the last one. It's almost the same thing. They are duplicates. It's the same record. Okay. It's just that they appear twice or 3 times or 10 times. Okay. All right. So keep the first one. That's what I'm putting here. Keep the first one. Now, let me show you something interesting about coding. Okay. If I run this, all right, it works. Okay. This should have taken it. This should have taken it. But you see that if I come back here and I run the same code again, you see, it will still give me 5. Okay. So when you're running this code, you need to specify something interesting, which is called inline equals to 2. So in place, sorry, not inline, in place. Okay. In place equals to true. Now, this in place equals to true. Okay. Is very important in this scenario because, if you run it without in place equals to true, it will it will happen, but on a surface level. Okay, it will happen. It will remove the duplicate, or it will be at the surface level. All right, but you want it to remove it from the original data set, from the original go in place equals to true. Will ensure that it is enforced deep down. Okay, rather than just being at the surface level. All right, in place equals to true will ensure that it is removed from the original data set. All right. So now, if I run this now, let me just copy this code. Okay, and I run this down a bit. Okay, all right, and I run this down and I run it again. You see now my duplicate data is now 0. So meaning that I don't have any duplicates in my data. So that's, you see, all right. So I found that I run this code to figure out that I have 5 duplicates in my data. All right, I ran this code to figure out that I have 5 duplicates in my data. I removed the duplicate. I kept only the first ones. That's what I did. Okay. And I just ran this again to test to be sure that the duplicate data had been removed or had been taken care of. Okay. All right. Now, the next one we're going to be dealing with is missing data. Okay. So let's say we want to explore missing data. Missing data. Okay. Now, to do this, almost the same thing. I would say data dot it's null. All right. So it's null is to confirm if there is NA or if there is a missing value. All right. So this particular code is saying that Tell me where there is a missing value in my data. Tell me where I have missing values in my data. So data.isNull is going to tell me where I have missing data in my data. So let me just run that. So you see it here. So when you see false, it means that there is a record there. Okay. When you see false, it's only when you see true. Okay. So you see this true now. It means that there is a missing data in that place. All right. You see true here. There's a missing data. Now let me show you the original data. So you see exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So the original data, if I go to the top, okay, you see this first employee. All right. There is a missing data here. All right. There is a missing data here. Let me just move it in a bit. The first employee, the first record, you see 8724. There is a missing value over here. So if I come to my data now, you see this the first record here. All right. You see previous year rating, missing value equals to true. All right. So this place is a missing value here. So rather than looking at it like this, what would I add? I'll just say dot sum. Okay. I'll just tell it, look at each column, all right, and sum up all the missing values. Give me a total. How many missing values do I have in each column? So just dot sum, and I run it. See exactly. So employee ID, it means that I don't have any missing data. Department column. So each column. So if you come here, come to Excel, let me show you how to do it in Excel. All right. I would, if I click the drop down, okay, you see I have no missing data. No missing data. If I come to let previous year rating now, for example, okay, and I click the drop down, you see I have blanks. Okay. But you see other records, no blank. I don't have blank anywhere else. Okay. All right. So you see all the places I have zero, it means that there is no missing data. Department, I have no missing data in that column. Region, I have no missing data. But you see in education, I have 1,034 missing data. I have 1,034 missing data. So if I look at education in Excel, all right, you see it here, blanks, all right, and I can filter to look at all the blanks. So you see there is nothing, okay, nothing, okay, in that particular column, all right, nothing. So it's blank, and that's why I have 1,034 employees that we don't know their education. All right. So previous year rating also, we have 1,812, okay, employees without a previous year rating. All right. So these are the two columns that have what we call missing data. Okay. So the data engineer should be able to deal with missing data, should be able to deal with missing data. So education, previous year rating has to be dealt with. Okay. We need to deal with the missing data. That's what we want to do now. All right. So first of all, I've shown you how to take a look at it in Excel, but most time you won't be looking at it in Excel. All right. So you can't do it. It's not every source you can be looking at. You can't, it's not every data source that is going to be like Excel. All right. Imagine you getting data from the web. Okay. All right. You can't be filtering a web or an API or a JSON file. You really can't do that. Okay. So you need to be able to look at, let's take a look at it. All right, let me show you how to, let's take a look at the missing data. Okay, let's take a look at the missing data. Okay, so what I'm going to do, okay, so let's take a look at education first of all. I'll take a look at education first of all. So let's say education, I write it in capital letter, so when you're doing your own, okay, you understand exactly what we're talking about. All right, the education column. Let's take a look at the education column. Okay, all right. So I would say data. Don't worry if you don't understand the code. Just this is how to work it out. I'll just show you data square brackets. All right, and I'll specify the education column, education, and I would say dot is now. Okay, open and close brackets. Okay, and I would say end. Give me the 5 rows. education, education, education. All right, so you see it here. So these are the missing, this is the top 5 rows of missing data in the education. So we are looking at the education column. That's one thing you should take a look at. So this particular code means what? Look at the education column. All right. But I'm only looking for the education column that is null. Okay, that is null. It is empty. That is missing. Okay, I want to take a look at the columns. All right, I want to take a look at the rows. All right, that have education as missing, that they have missing values in the education column essentially. So if I copy this code and I take a look at the other one, which is the other column is what previous year rating. I'm going to copy it. So I want to take a look at that column also, previous year rating. Okay. I want to take a look at the values, the rows that have missing values in that particular column. All right. So you see it here, previous year rating. These are the people that have no rating. Okay. And don't forget, this is only looking at top 5. Okay. This is only looking at top 5. Okay, this is only looking at top 5. Okay, only looking at top 5. All right. So these are the this we have missing values in education and previous year rating. So we just want to explore. We just want to see it. We just we want to see it that okay, to be sure that this calculation that we've done is correct. And looking at it now, you can see that education, this particular employee has no education. This employee, no education. You can see the NAN, okay, not available. All right. All right. And looking at the previous year rating, all right, this ones too, they don't have previous year rating. All right. So this is how you can explore your missing data. Okay. You want to take a look at the records. This is how you can explore. So now the key thing now is to deal with them. Okay. Deal with, all right, missing values. Okay. Deal with the missing values or missing data. Let's move missing data. All right. Deal with missing data. Let's deal with them. We need to deal with them. Okay. So the first one, let's take a look at education. So what I'll do is for education, I'll just replace it with unknown. Okay, I'll replace it with unknown rather than leaving it as empty, NaN. All right, I'll leave it as unknown. Okay, I'll change it from NaN to unknown. So basically, we don't know what education because you can't guess. Okay, you can't guess somebody's education based on their data. So I'll just leave it. I don't want to remove it because they are employees of the organization. All right. So you don't want to remove it because these guys exist in the organization. Okay. All right. So you don't want to remove it. Okay. You don't want to take it out because they are part of your organization because they don't have education. You don't want to delete them. That's a bit so that's unfair. All right. So what we want to do is to remove that NA and replace it with unknown. So when we do when the data analyst is doing the analysis, they can say, oh, 7% of our employees have unknown education. So they will be the ones to start drilling in to find out why they don't have education, or go further to find out why, or what's the essence, or what is the reasons why they don't have any education. But our job as data engineers is to basically make it as clean and proper as possible. So I'm going to say DF data and the education column, okay, and I would say fill NA. So we use fill NA, fill NA. So fill the blanks basically. We fill the blanks and I will fill it with unknown. Unknown, okay. And I would say in place, okay, equals to true. Okay. All right. So that's for that. This is for the education column. Okay. So I'll put hashtag for the education column. Okay. All right. So is it column or column? I'm not sure now. Some people say it's column. Some people say it's column. So please correct me. Which one is correct? Column or column? I'm not sure. So you guys please help me. All right. Help me, please. If you know the correct pronunciation, is it column or column? Please help me. All right. So let's take a look at the next one. Okay. So previous year rating. Okay. All right, previous year rating. Both is correct. Okay. All right. So education, I replaced it with unknown. So all the missing values, all the missing data that was there before, I have changed it to unknown. Now bear in mind that all this transformation that we are doing, our data, nothing is wrong with our data. That's data in Excel. That data in Excel, nothing is wrong with it. Nothing is affecting this data. So the data source is still intact. Nothing. All this transformation, the cleaning, and all these things that we are doing, nothing is. Nothing is. We have extracted the data, so the data is on its own. Okay, all right. All this transformation that we're doing is in Python. It doesn't. It's not even affecting this particular data source. It's not. Nothing here is happening. All right. So that's one thing you need to know. So with previous year rating, okay, which is a number, okay, which is a number, okay, because they don't have, okay, we'll change it to, instead of unknown, we'll change it to 0. Hey, what's that? So fill all the NAs, we'll use 0. So we can't remove them also. So people will say remove the data, remove missing values. No, you don't just remove data. You can also just fill them with placeholder 0, all right, or in categorical data unknown, and so on and so forth. So those are ways you can also deal with missing values. There's also statistical ways of dealing with missing values, but I'm not going to bore you with that. All right, you can use machine learning to also replace missing values. But that's not the job of the data engineer. When the data scientists see that, they know how to work it out. Okay. All right. So previous year rating, okay, I'll just, because it is empty, you can see the NAs here. All right. It means that they don't have. Okay. So I'll just replace that with 0. Okay. I don't need to stress myself. So for this one will be for previous year rating. All right. Okay, so for previous year rating column. So for education, I replaced it with unknown, so I don't know their education. Okay, so all the NAs, all the missing data, I replaced it with unknown. Previous year rating, I replaced it with 0. Okay, so let's take it. Let's now run that. I'll run this now. Run it. See how you control it. So maybe I run it. That's fifth enter, or you click on this run button to run. Okay, now, if I get that code for missing value, then let me run this data again. Let me run it. I'll run it. I would run this code again, okay, for missing data. So you see, I have replaced my missing data with unknown, and I've replaced this one with 0. So if I run this now, you see now I don't have any missing data again. So this field any has given me the permission to replace all the missing values with either unknown in the education column or 0 in previous year rating. So when I run this now, it's not a sum. All right, you see my data, no missing data. I don't have any missing data. All right. So the data engineer, so see what exactly, just to reiterate what we have done. The data engineer has extracted the data, okay, has done transformation. So we checked for duplicate data. We saw that we had 5 duplicate data in our records, in our data. We removed them, okay, we took them out, all right. And after taking it out, what did we do? Okay, we looked for missing data. We also identified that some columns have missing data. And what do we do? We replaced education with unknown, previous year rating with 0. And, we have a clean and proper data. Okay, we have a clean and proper data. So you see, how many of us are following? Let me see. Let me see the guys that are following at the moment. If you're following, put a 1 in the chat. Franklin is saying my head is on fire. Don't worry, just relax. All right. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. I love you guys, honestly speaking. My best. All right. So you see, that's you examining the data and you dealing with missing values. Fantastic. I love it. This ones are let's fire on, let's fire on. So we have done step 1. All right. We've done step 1. All right. We've done step 2. All right. The next step is step 3. Create a database. All right. Create a database. Step 3. All right. So I'll come here. I'll insert new cells, empty cells. I'll come here, change it to markdown. All right. Paste this one inside. Put the hashtags, space, I'll run. Okay, so create a database. So this place here, I'll do it in Postgres. So I'll put it here so you see. So go to Postgres, go to pgadmin, okay, pgadmin, and create a database table. Okay, so step 3, I'll go to pgadmin, okay, and create a database table. So I'll go to my database now. All right, I'll go to my database. Okay, see, yeah, creating a database is not so difficult. Okay, so you see here, I'm going to come here, right click, create database. Imagine. So when you see operations, when you see things that there's a way you can write code to do it in coding. Okay, but we're just the first class. So let's look at the simple. Let's look at the more less stressful way. All right. So when you're in the main program, you will learn how to use Python to create the database. And do your insert statements, do all the things. We're going to do a little bit of insert statement today. All right. So you see, we're creating a database now. So you see what I just did to create a database, right click, create database. Okay. You could also use, what we call cursors to do that, or to use Python to do it. Okay. All right. But for today's class, I won't create a database. I'll just create a database table. So I'll come to my database inside Postgres. Okay. I have what we call schemas. All right. And you see table currently, it is empty. The table is empty. So I'll right click here and create a table. Okay, I'll create a table. All right. So this table, I'll give it a name. Okay. Let me give it table, employee table, underscore table. Okay. So table, I'll call it table anyways. Okay. And I'll click on that's all I have to do. So I'll just right click. All you need to do, no. Okay. So close. Yes. All right. So all you have to do is come to Postgres. Okay. Click the drop down. Come to schemas. Click the drop down. You would see table. Okay. Nothing is in the table just yet. Nothing is there. Right click on table. Create table in the database. So I'm currently creating a table in my Postgres database. I'm creating a table in my Postgres database. So I'm going to call this emp table, employee table. Okay, employee. Let me put it in full so you will not be asking yourself what is emp. Okay, employee table, and I'm going to click on save. Okay, I'll click on save, and that's me. Saved. I've created a table. So this table currently is empty. I will refresh. You see, if I refresh, okay, all right, this table currently is empty. So if I right click and I see view, view all rows, I right click on that table I just created, and you see view all rows. All right, the table is empty. Nothing is there. No data output. Okay, no data output. No data is currently there in that table. No data is there. All right. So now what we want to do is we have cleaned our data. We have cleaned the data. We have identified duplicates. We've identified missing values. We've done all the things we need to do. Now, that clean data, we want to load it inside the database. That clean data, we need to, all right, we need to load the clean data into the database. We need to load it into the database. All right. So now that's what we need to do. So what in order for you to connect to the database. So now currently Python is on its own. PG admin Postgres SQL is also on its own. All right. So Python is on its own. PG admin is on its own. All right. But we need to establish a connection between Python and PostgreSQL. We need to establish a connection. So what do we need to do? Okay, we need our credentials. Okay, all right. So for database, Postgres, okay, properties, okay, connection. Okay. So in order for you to do, so right click on PostgreSQL, you see properties. When you click on connection, so we need to establish a connection. Okay, we need to establish a connection between Python and PostgreSQL. We need to establish a connection between Python and PostgreSQL. The same analogy I used. You have a tap in front of your kitchen. You want to wash your car in front of your house. Okay? All right? Rather than taking a bucket and going to fetch water and bringing it back, okay, back and forth. What do you want to do? You want to establish a connection, a pipe. So you take a pipe, connect it to your tap, okay, all right, and take the pipe to the front of the house. So when you on the tap, the water just flows from the tap into you using it anywhere you want you to wash your car and anything. So we need to establish a connection between Python and the PostgreSQL. So that's the pipe that we're talking about. So we need some database credentials to establish that connection. Database credentials. Okay. All right. Database credentials. So we need what we call, let's say, username. Okay. We need a password. I won't show you my password anyways. Okay. We need a host. Okay. We need port and we need a name. Let's say DB name, DB database, DB name. Okay. All right. So username. Okay. The username is there already. The username, you see it here, username. So once you do that same thing I did, go to PostgreSQL, right click, and you click on properties, and you click on connection. You see username, Postgres. I can just copy it, Postgres. I'll come here, put a quotation mark, and I'll put Postgres inside. Password, I'll come back to password. I don't want you to see my password, okay? Host, you see host is there. Host is what? Local host, okay? All right? Host is local host, and I'll paste it there also. All right? Port, all the information is on your database already, so you don't need to crack it. Port is 5432, okay? All right, so I'll leave it as a number because the number, okay? And DB name, okay? DB name, all right? It's the same thing. That's the database maintenance name, username is the same thing. So I'll keep it as Postgres, okay? I'll copy this and I'll put it here. So what I'll do now, guys, just give me a second. I don't want you to see my password. So I'll go to the last down. So you don't see it. All right, so I'll say password, okay, and I'll put my password there. Okay. So when you're working on when you are installing, okay, when you're installing Postgres, you will need a password, okay? Security, you will need a password. I've seen it, like recalcitrant. All right. So, all right. So you need when you're installing Postgres because of security, you will need to create a password. Now, when you're installing Postgres, please don't forget that password. Even when you're installing, it will be, that process will be mentioned to you. You need a password. So you need to specify. All right. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. All right. So let me just move this out of the way. Let me bring it back. I'm going to bring it back. Okay. So password, I've created a data. So your own password, you put your password there. Your own password, you put it there. Okay. You put your own password there. Okay. So if your own password is, let's say, if your password is, if let's say your own password is analytics. Okay. All right. You need to put it like this in quotation. Your password should be in quotation. All right. So that's one thing you need to do. Your password should be in quotation like this. But because me, I've done my own. Okay. So I called mine Ifemena. So, but if you are doing yours, put it in quotation, please. That's one thing you need to do. All right. So password equals to Ifemena, host equals to local host, port equals to 5432, and so on and so forth. So these are our database credentials. So the next thing we need to do is establish a connection. Establish a capital a connection. Okay. So we need to establish a connection. So what we're going to do, we're going to define an engine. So don't worry. I'm just walking you through it. You don't need to be an expert. Don't worry. All right. So create underscore engine. Okay. So I'm going to use what we call F literals. Okay, so this is more or less what we call a place. What do you call it? Give me a second. Let me just stop this so I don't make mistake. PostgreSQL. Okay, colon forward slash. Okay, curly brackets. Okay, username. Okay, outside this, I have another colon. Okay, curly brackets. Password. Okay. What else? Another. So password at. Okay. The host name. Okay. Column again. Curly brackets. Port. Sorry. Supposed to be curly brackets. Port. That curly brackets. DB name. Okay. And oh, so this is what we're going to be looking at. So let me just be sure I'm writing the right thing. All right. So PostgreSQL, this is what we're going to use to establish that connection. So PostgreSQL, we need a username, we need a password at the local host. The port address is 5432. All right, and the DB name is Postgres. Okay, Postgres. All right, so if I run this now, okay, I have an error here. Create engine. Create, this should be create engine. Okay. All right. I run this. Okay, so no error. All right, that means this works perfectly. So I've created a connection with this statement like this. That pipe we're talking about connecting to the front of to the kitchen. Okay. All right, we've established that connection. So currently, this Python script is connected to Postgres. Okay, it's connected to Postgres. So establish the connection using the database credentials. So we use the username, okay? The password is there, host is there, port is there, and DB name is there. So we're using our database credentials to establish a connection, in which we have done already. All right. Now the next thing is to, all right, load the data. Okay, load the data, okay, into the database. And let me just show you the database again, just to be sure, just to show you that there is no data there at the moment. So if I go to Postgres, I go to schema, okay, I go to schema, I go to employee table, right click, and I view all rows. Sorry, you see no data in the table. So now we've cleaned our data. So the next thing for us to do is to load it into the database. Okay, into the database table, okay, called, now we called what employee, we called it employee underscore table. That's what we called it. Okay, so when you go to Postgres, you see it is called employee table. Okay, employee table. That's what we called it. All right. So I'll just say data dot to underscore SQL. Okay. The table name is what? What's the table name? Employee, all right, underscore table, close the quotation mark, comma, all right. So this is the connection. Engine is our connection, okay? We specify the connection. So if underscore exists, so if that data exists there already, I would do what? I would replace the data, okay? Okay, I'll replace an index equals to false. Okay, so once I create that, once I do that, false. Okay, so I'll close it. I'll close it. I mean, close the connection. So whenever you open the connection, you need to also, once you run it, you need to close the connection. All right. So I would say engine, okay, which is the connection that I created, dot dispose. Dispose. Open and close the brackets. Okay. So like the tab, when you connect the tap to the front of the kitchen, to the tap in front of the kitchen, and you're washing your car, you want to be able to open the tap and close it. Open and close. So it's not just on every time. If it's on every time, what would happen? All right, everyone will be flooded, isn't it? All right. So whenever you open it, all right, don't leave it open for till eternity. Okay, always close it. So that's exactly what we've done. So when we open that connection, when we establish that connection, we open it up. Okay, we don't want to leave it open. When we do whatever we've done, whenever we do something, what do? We close that connection. Okay, so that's exactly what we have done. Now, if I run this code, okay, you see it's taking a few seconds. What's the problem? Let me see. Sorry, give me a second. Let me see the error I'm getting in here. There's a long error. Replace index equals to false. Employee engine. Okay, we establish the connection data to SQL. Okay. Then the table name, employee data. Let me be sure I'm spelling it correctly. Let me see. It's a long piece of error. Okay, could not translate the 450 ads. So there's something wrong with, let me see my password. Okay, so give me a second. Let me just be sure that my password is correct. Yeah, no. A second. Sorry, just my password. Just password. Okay. So we could not translate this localhost. Sorry, just give me a second. So I have my password is giving me a little bit of port. So password at host. Give me a second. Sorry. Let me just confirm my password. I'm using the right password. Okay, sorry, I made a mistake with my password. Sorry, I wrote it down somewhere, so I don't forget. Okay, so I needed to confirm I'm writing the right password. Okay, all right. So yes, I've confirmed my password. It should work by God's grace now. You guys should pray for me. So I run that again, run this. Now it should run. Okay, no error. So the problem was with my password. So there was something I missed when I was writing the password. So once you write the right password, you do all the things you need to do. You see, you run this. I can run it again, and perfectly, it works perfectly. Now, if I go back to Postgres, okay, my database, earlier there was no data in my database in this table. So if I come back here now and I just do a simple refresh, okay, all right, and I come here, right click, and I say view all rows, okay. Now that data that was in the CSV file, so now I can start to write SQL, I can start to write SQL code, SQL queries to do exploration and all that. So that data that used to be in a CSV file, okay, has gone through what we call ETL. I've done the extraction, I've done the transformation, and I have loaded that data, that same data, into Postgres SQL. All right, I've loaded it into a database. Now, rather than the data analyst, data scientist, and HR analyst, financial analyst to be doing connected to the CSV file, all right, I'll just give them connection to the database so they can connect directly to the database, all right, rather than individual working with different types of data. The data engineer has done the extraction process, transformation process, and loading it into the database for people to have access to it. So, all right, so that's exactly what we have done. So this is a simple ETL pipeline that we just did. All right, this is a simple ETL pipeline, very simple. All right, extract the data. So when I say you shouldn't be an expert, is because you're just starting. You can't learn this thing in 2 hours. It's impossible. You can't be an expert in 2 hours. All right. But if you listen and you understand the fundamental, then you can take on that knowledge to do more things. All right. So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to be an expert to understand. Okay. You don't need full on, you don't become an expert for you to understand exactly what we're doing today. You just need to understand the basics. What did we do? First thing, we extracted the data from the CSV file. All right. After extraction, we did some transformation, dealing with what duplicate data and missing data. All right. Initially, the data had no duplicate values. We added it manually, and we saw that there were 5 duplicates. And what did we do? We treated duplicate data. We looked at missing values. We saw we had missing values. What did we do? We also took care of all the missing values. And we had a good and proper data set. After that, what did we do? We established a connection to the database and we loaded it into the database. So this is the job of a data engineer. So we have what we call the ETL pipeline. Okay. So anyway, that's about what we need to do for our practical session for today. So if you understood the process of what we did today, the extraction, the transformation, the loading into a PostgreSQL database, this is the role of a data engineer. Yes, it becomes more complex as we go on. Data source, for example, this data source that we have here as of today, this is what we call a data source, okay? What we refer to as a data source, okay? Now, this data source is not always going to be in Excel, all right? It could be a web application, okay? All right. It could be an API. Okay. All right. It could be, what we call it could be it could be what we call a SaaS application or a software as a service. So it could be from Salesforce. All right. It could be getting data from Salesforce, from SAP, from QuickBooks. It could be any other software as a service. It could be data from any of this particular platform. It could be from web. It could be from API. So that data source, that's exactly where you are going to be doing your extraction process. So you can be extracting data from any of these sources that we have here. All right. Then after you extract, what do? You transform the data, you clean it up. All right. That's what we call you clean up the data. All right. You clean it up. And after you clean it, you load it into a database. All right. Now, this could be a database could be what we call on-premise, okay, on-prem, like they call it, or it could be a cloud-based architecture. All right. So that's when you start to hear about AWS. All right. You start to hear about GCP, all right, which is Google Cloud Platform, and we have Azure. Okay. So people will say it's Azure. Azure or Azure. Please, guys, correct me. Which one is correct? All right. Is it Azure or Azure? Let me see. Azure, yes, Benjamin. Epiphany said both of them. So you could call them anyone, but please, it's not if a man that I called it Azure, go outside. Call it Azure. Okay, so it's Azure. They call it Azure. That's the platform there. All right. So, on-prem, okay? On-prem is your local machine, like the one that exists before, the one that exists within your local environment. So if you go to the bank, you see one place, a server room that has plenty wires connected to it. That's your server, that's your on-prem data source, okay? All right. It could be a cloud, AWS. For the training program, we're going to be using AWS, all right? Or different organizations use different cloud platforms. So, this is amazing. This is what we do as data engineers. All right. So, okay. So now, and that's the reason why we created, a fantastic training program. Okay. So, you don't need anything. Don't come with anything. Come with any knowledge. If you come with prior knowledge, fine. If you don't have any prior knowledge, also perfectly fine. We're going to hold your hands. All right. And this is your pathway to becoming a certified data engineer. All right. The training program is an immersive training program that will take you from zero. So you don't need any prior knowledge for you to get started. All right. We'll teach you teach all the technologies that we're going to work with, from Python to SQL to PySpark to GitHub, AWS, Airflow, and so on and so forth. All right. So the training program is 100% online. 100% online. So regardless of anywhere you're in India, you're in China, you're in Japan, you're in Nigeria, you're in Cameroon, so you're in UK, Canada, anywhere you are in the world, this program is 100% online. All right. And you would have an experienced facilitator leading you. So you see what we call instructor led. It's an instructor led training program. So you have someone like myself, all right, that would hold your hands in a real life class scenario and walk you through it. Okay. The reasons why I couldn't take questions today because we have limited time to be on the call. Okay. So we don't have classes. This is not we just had limited time. That's why I had no time to take questions. Okay. Okay. But in a real life class, you would ask questions, you unmute yourself, you share your screen. Oh, I ran this code. I'm getting this error. How do I, you have that real life experience working with a virtual instructor. All right. Now the training program is hands-on practical. Okay. So like what we did today, ETL, rather than me using slides to explain it to you, I used a real life practical scenario to show you exactly how ETL can be implemented. All right, working with real life data. All right, so you have that hands-on practical session. Okay, from coding to SQL to combining Python and SQL to doing all these fancy things that we did today. All right, and even more. All right, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, so you have hands-on practical sessions with videos, exercises, and projects. Okay, so you're going to be working. It's immersive. When I say immersive, can you say immersive? It's an immersive training program. Okay, take you 0 to 100 in data engineering. Okay, now the next thing also you need to understand that you have lifetime access to the materials and the experts. So you finish the training program or you're working on the training program, you have access to all the materials. You finish the training program, you have access to the material. You finish it 10 months in advance, you still have access to the training program. So you see, you have lifetime access to all the training program. All right. The training program, the classes, you have 20 plus classes with 50 plus topics. So see what we did in an hour plus. Imagine when you now spend the next 3 plus months handling over 20 classes, over 50 topics. You are going to get so much more. All right. The average salary of a data engineer in Nigeria is 8 million naira. Okay. And the average salary of a data engineer in the UK is £52,000. Okay. That's per annum per year. Okay. For this data engineering project, for the training program, you would add about 10 projects to your repository, to your portfolio. Okay. So you would add a lot, it's a practical project, working with Python, working with SQL, to working with Apache Spark, to working with Apache Airflow, to working with AWS. You are going to be working with quite a number of tools, and you'll be adding project portfolios. You'll be adding to your project portfolios. All right. 100% job visibility. Okay. We'll talk more about that, but we would expose you to places you could get remote jobs, full-time jobs in the UK, contracts, and so many more that you could actually explore. All right. Also in the US and Canada, would expose you to places you could apply for jobs. Okay. Industry relevant certification. So after the training program, you complete your capstone project, you get an industry relevant certification. So you get a certificate once you complete the training program. So this training program is for 3 months plus, okay, with 2 months plus, 2 months virtual internship. All right. So you have 3 months of virtual learning and you have 2 months of virtual internship. Okay. All right. Now, how do you become a data engineer? What do you need to learn is the main question. What are the things you need to learn to become a data engineer? The first thing you need to learn is intro. And this is why I said it is beginner friendly. The training program is beginner friendly. So you don't need to come with anything because we're going to teach you everything. Okay. So if you come with something, that's fine. Okay. But if you don't come with anything, you're also perfectly fine. All right. Introduction to data engineering. So we need to understand the fundamentals about data engineering. What's a database? What's a data warehouse? What's a data lake? I'm very sure some people will be asking themselves, what's the difference between a database and a data warehouse? Don't worry, those things will be answered. What is the role of a data engineer? What is normalization? What is data modeling? All those basic things that you hear about, you will understand it in the introduction to data engineering. Thereafter, you move into Python and SQL. So we did a bit of Python. We did a bit of SQL today. All right. We did more of Python and SQL today. But in the training program, you learn Python, you learn SQL, and you learn them together. You learn how to use Python and SQL together. All right. Moving on, you move on to working with Linux and GitHub. Okay, so you use Linux for batch commands. Okay, and you use GitHub for version control. Okay, I've explained a bit of version control before, but I would explain it again. Okay, so version control basically allows you to work with different versions of your document. Okay, so I usually like to use you working on, let's say, a document, okay, a Word document. So there are times that you've worked on a particular or even Excel, okay? You've done so many work on Excel, okay? And something happens to your laptop, okay? And it goes off and it comes back on, and you find out that all the things you've been working on for the last 2 hours did not save. All right? Every single thing you've been doing the last 2 hours did not save. All right? It's very painful. And that's the reason why you have, OneDrive or Dropbox, and you can be working directly from OneDrive. Okay? So that, if something happens, it is saving automatically. It is saving automatically. So the moment something happens, okay, even if the stuff did not save, the most recent update, you can always go back to the most recent updates, all right, to see. And you see this thing is saved every minute or every two minutes or every five minutes. So you don't have, you're not going to be losing so much. All right. You're not going to be losing so much. That's what GitHub is for. So when you're designing your pipeline, you're working on building things, all right, and something happens, okay, you can always revert to the most previous or the most recent one, all right, before the issue starts to happen. Okay. You always revert back to them. So that's version control. All right. If you want to go back to an older one, okay, you can also do the same thing. Go back in terms of version control to do the same thing. So that's what version control is. So you get to work with GitHub, okay, doing that version control and also Linux for batch commands. All right. Data modeling. So you get to work with data modeling, you get to work with normalization, denormalization, working with how to, fact and dimension tables, primary foreign key, schemas, Snowflake schema, and star schema, and so on and so forth. So you learn all that in your data modeling class. Thereafter, you work with pandas. So we took a little bit of pandas today, just a tiny bit of it. Okay, so you work more extensively with pandas. You move into Apache Spark. Okay, for distributed systems. For if you're working with big data, how can you break it down? Imagine you extracting data from 5 million rows of data. You can't just extract it once. Okay, so you need to break it into batches. Okay, so how do you use Apache Spark to work with big data? Essentially, you will get to work with that. Moving on to data extraction, you get to work with how can you extract data from web. So web scraping, you get to build application, scripts that will be able to scrape data from the web. You get to work with getting data from API sources. You get to extract data from different data sources, essentially. All right. Thereafter, you work with data cleaning and transformation. Okay, so you work on data cleaning and transformation projects. Thereafter, you need to load it somewhere. Okay, so you're going to work with both on-prem data sources, but most especially cloud, because majority of the organizations that you're going to be looking out for are organizations that are migrating to the cloud or currently in the cloud. Okay, so you're going to work with both, but the major focus will be more on AWS. All right. Thereafter, we have AWS, Amazon Web Services. Then we have data pipeline and orchestration. So data pipeline orchestration, essentially, let me explain that a little bit. Orchestration basically means and scheduling means automation. So whenever you create a pipeline, okay, you want it to run at a certain time. You want to automate the pipeline. All right, it's called pipeline automation. Okay. So how do you schedule this? So for this particular place, this is where we're going to introduce you to what we call Apache Airflow. Call this Apache Airflow. Okay, so you're going to work with Apache Airflow. Okay, so data pipeline, orchestration, and scheduling. After you combine all this knowledge together, you now become a master data engineer. You become a master data engineer. That's fantastic. So it's an immersive training program taking you from zero, okay, introducing to data engineering, working with Python and SQL, working with batch commands and version control, moving into data modeling, handles, data cleaning, data extraction, working with Apache Spark, working with AWS, working with Apache Airflow, so on and so forth. In order for you to be celebrating, this is how you're going to be jumping once you finish the training program. You get me? All right. So, this is the progress we're going to go through introduction to data engineering. So you see, it's a step-by-step approach that we're taking to learning. All right. It's a step-by-step approach we are taking to learning. And this is how you're going to start introduction to data engineering. And you take it all the way building projects on each and every technology that you work with. All right. So once you get the material, you see it's detailed. It provides you with a detailed overview of what you've been learning under each topic. Data engineering fundamental, introduction to data engineering, why data engineering, what's big data, relational database, data pipeline concepts, on what's cloud computing, what's on-prem versus cloud computing, so on and so forth. All right. Python programming, all the things you learn under Python programming, SQL, the same thing, batch command and version control, the same thing. All right. Data modeling, the same thing. You have detailed. So once you get the slide, everything is detailed in there. walking you through from Apache Spark, Spark architecture, data processing using PySpark, differences between Pandas and PySpark, overview of distributed computing, so on and so forth. All the things you need to learn about Apache Spark. All right. Data extraction, the thing how to extract data with Pandas, how to extract data with PySpark, working with databases, working with APIs. Everything is detailed out. So once you get the materials, please take a few seconds to look at the roadmap. But one thing you should know have at the back of your mind is this training program is detailed. All right. Very detailed, built by people that have industry experience. All right. And you'll be working with these people in order for you to get started. All right. So in addition to the learning, when you learn all the technical skills, you'll find out that it is not sufficient enough. It's still not sufficient enough. It's not enough for you to get a job. You know how to do AWS does not mean you get a job as an AWS cloud engineer. It doesn't mean that. And that's just the painful truth. Okay. The technical skills just give you 50% in order for you to get a job. The other 50% is the additional benefit, in which I'm going to be talking about. All right. Additional benefit. So for CV review, for what we have here, CV review. Okay, CV review is an important aspect. Okay, because majority of this recruiter now what we call ATS. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking Software. Applicant Tracking Software. So CV it's you. Okay, all right. Your CV is you in digital format. Okay, all right. So if your CV doesn't look fantastic, it doesn't look great, all right, you are likely going to be having a lot of rejection. So if your CV doesn't speak well, the tone of your CV, there's no action words, there are no descriptions, there are no metrics and all that, you're likely going to get a lot of rejection. If certain keywords are not in your CV, you likely get rejection. So this applicant tracking software, okay, works majorly on what we call keywords, okay, keywords. So how do you identify these keywords in the CV? We're going to teach you how to do that. Okay. So it's an extensive review of your CV. It's basically what we call rebranding. Okay. So you have always been a customer service guy. You've always been working as a customer service representative, or you've been working in care, or you've been working in whatever industry you've been working in. All right. You've been working as an accountant. All right. How do you rebrand yourself on your CV to move from those previous career roles, all right, into data engineering? So that's what we do for you in the CV review sessions. Okay. And we all this is something that we do very well. Okay. Now the next part is LinkedIn optimization. All right. LinkedIn optimization is very similar to what we call SEO, which is search engine optimization. So if you go on Google today and you search for maybe the best restaurant in Nigeria, you'll likely see, you know, top searches. So when you go on Google and you search for something, you see the most relevant, all right, the most ones that have optimized their SEOs will be the first set of what they call it, uh, results that you would see. So for LinkedIn optimization, when a recruiter, okay, all right, is looking to hire, okay, a data engineer, all right, is looking to hire a data engineer, okay, and they go on LinkedIn, okay, they go on LinkedIn to search for data engineer. Will your profile, will it appear? Will your own profile or your profile will it appear on LinkedIn that you are a potential candidate for that particular role? Okay. So LinkedIn optimization is basically optimizing your LinkedIn profile so that when this recruiter, okay, comes online to search for data engineer, your profile will be amongst the first set of profiles this recruiter is going to see. Do you understand? That's exactly what we refer to as LinkedIn optimization. All right, so we're going to optimize your LinkedIn profile to get you more visibility in terms of what you are doing, in what you've learned and what you want to become. Now, the other part is Upwork optimization, which is necessarily a place for freelancers. So if you want to work freelancing, all right, this is the platform for you. All right, so this particular platform will get you opportunity for you to work freelance as a data engineer, as an ETL developer, as a data cleaning expert, so on and so forth. All right. Or if you work on different kinds of projects, data engineering, cloud engineering projects, so you could also work freelance. So what we're going to do also is to optimize your Upwork profile. So whenever somebody comes online and they're looking for a data engineer or some kind of cloud engineer, all right, your profile also all right, is going to pop up. Okay, so that's exactly the optimization we're talking about. Now, the next thing is navigating the job market. Okay, now the key question you need to ask yourself after you finish learning this thing, what type of jobs can you do? Okay, type of job. Okay, where can you get these jobs? Where can you get them? Where can you get these jobs? That's another key question you need to ask yourself. So navigating the job market is essentially developed. Okay, very important for us. So this is where we now start to teach you what type of jobs can you take on. All right. So most people, when they finish a training program, they are very naive. Okay, I've learned this now. What type of jobs can I apply for? All right. Can I apply for only data engineering jobs? Can I apply for cloud engineering jobs? What kind of jobs can I even take on? First of all, now, for data engineers, most people just finish the training program and start searching for data engineering jobs. Okay. All right, but you could actually get a job as a BI developer, a BI engineer. That's a business intelligence developer or engineer. You can do it perfectly once you complete the training program. You could also work as what we call an ETL developer. All right, you can work in analytics engineering. You can work in, cloud engineering. You can work as an AWS cloud engineer, so on and so forth. So many jobs you can actually apply to. All right. All right. Where can you apply for these jobs? I'm currently in Nigeria. Okay. I'm in Nigeria and I want to get a job in the US. Where do I apply for these kind of jobs? I want to get a job in Australia, in Dubai. Where do I apply for these jobs? All right. Where can I get remote jobs? Okay. Where I can work remotely. All right. Even if I'm in the US, where can I get these remote jobs? Do you understand? All right. I'm in Canada. Where can I get remote jobs? I'm in the UK. Where can I get remote jobs? Okay. And so on and so forth. All right. Now, recommendation or reference letter is basically to back up your experience, to back up, okay, your experience. So, like I said, okay, you've been working as a customer service, you've been working as a customer service representative, okay, and you've learned data engineering now, you've rebranded yourself. But the thing now is, most recruiters, especially international organizations, always want, you know, recommendation letter. They want recommendation letter. They want somebody to recommend or act as a reference. And why most people will miss out on those kind of opportunities because if you learn by yourself, for example, you learn on YouTube for the last maybe 18 months or 12 months or 1 year, okay? Now you get a job, you get an interview, and let's say by God's grace, something happens and you're almost there, okay? And they ask for reference. Your previous employer cannot back up your data engineering experience to what you have on your CV, cannot back it up. Okay, you say you've done AWS, you can do it with, you can do this with AWS. Who is going to back you up? All right. That's why you see a lot of people missing out on so many opportunities, and they'll tell you it's impossible. You need a wealth of experience. You need a year. You need 3 years for you to get a job. It's because nobody can stand in for them. All right. Nobody can stand in for them. And be the fact that you're going to be working on so many projects during the training program. All right. You work on projects, you work on end-to-end designing end-to-end performance data pipeline projects from different cloud sources, from different data sources into a preferred destination source in the cloud, on premise, whatever. So you're going to be working on all those kind of detailed projects. And after that, we can back up your experience, with either a reference letter or a recommendation letter. Okay, so we send this. I'll tell you for free. All right, don't tell anybody, but we write the best recommendation and reference letter for the people that go through our program. Now, job and interview preparation is something that we hold to a very high esteem, and that's because you've never worked as a data engineer before. Okay, so once you apply for a job, okay, and you get called, we have what we call mock interview sessions. Okay, all right, where we use to prep you. We use this to prep you for sessions. Take, for example, all right, during the mock sessions, we train you on how to answer scenario-based questions. All right. So tell me about the time you built a pipeline and the pipeline, crashed or something happened. Okay. Or how were you able to work with a difficult boss? Tell me about the time you worked on a project and the people on the project were difficult to work with. So those are what we call scenario-based questions. So there's something we have that is very, very common. We call it the STAR technique. Okay. All right. STAR. So you need to talk about the situation. Okay. Situation. All right. You need to talk about the task. performed task. Okay. You need to talk about the action. Okay. All right. And you need to talk about the results. Okay. So these are things that you need to understand. So if you've never gone for this kind of interviews before, or what kind of question would they likely ask you, we are going to walk you through every single thing. All right. So from the situation, you need to be able to define the situation, the task, the action, and your result. So when you're talking about results, it's not just, oh, I was able to solve the problem. You need to talk about what we call metric. Okay. Metrics. Okay. So you solve the problem, but quantify it. Okay. I was able to build the data pipeline, and instead of scheduling it every, instead of getting the data in every, rather than doing it in 30 minutes, all right, which was done before, you reduce that 30 minutes to less than a minute or in 2 minutes. Do you understand? So those are key performance, what we call KPIs, okay, that you have already implemented in that particular situation. So we'll teach you basically, we'll prep you for those kind of interview sessions. So we teach you how to apply for the job. You get the interview. We also do what we call mock sessions. Okay. All right. So don't worry, you're anxious, I know. So we'll also do what we call mentorship sessions. All right. So these mentorship sessions are designed for you to also get morale from people in the industry. All right, to get you aware of what's attainable. How people are able to transition. Data engineers currently in the industry, they come in to speak with you and so on and so forth. And you could also ask them questions. You could also just basically people to come and mentor you and motivate you to get started and get you through because you need a lot of motivation. You do need it. Now, the next part, which is the last one that we offer, is on the job support. So you get a job as a data engineer, okay? You get a job as a data engineer, and they give you a task on the first day, or the first week, or the first month, or the first quarter, or whatever period, okay? And you can't do it, okay? What would you do? You can always reach out to us, and we provide you with on-the-job support. All right. So we have a pool of experts internally, externally that can work with you on the job to get you running. So training wheels essentially. So you get those training wheels from us. So once you get the job, oh, I'm not sure I will be able to do it. Don't worry. Get the job first. Once you get the job, we'll provide you with on-the-job support. All right. So those are the things that we need to know. Okay. So kind of jobs you could also do, like I said, BI developer, you can work as a BI developer, you can work as a data engineer, all right. You can work as a, quite a number of roles, BI developer, data engineer, big data analyst, analytics engineer. You can work as ETL developer, technical architect, data science engineer, quantitative data engineer, and so on and so forth. Okay. Work freelance as a data engineer and earn dollars. I'll show you some places you could actually get remote jobs. Okay. First of them is flex jobs. You can go on LinkedIn to search for remote opportunities, remote.co, Indeed, well found, and Upwork. And the beauty about these jobs is that they exist. Don't think that they don't exist. And I'll just spend the next 2 minutes telling you places you can actually get remote jobs. So if you just go, let me say in the UK, let's just take a look at the UK first of all, because I'm based in the UK. All right, then I'll show you some other places. So if I come on here and I search for data engineer, just a quick search on data engineer. All right. And in your own local environment, you could also go up there, just search for data engineer. All right. So you see this is a data engineering role. Okay. And this is £450 to £475 per day, not per week. Okay. Per day. And yes, this is what we call contract position. So I mentioned at the start of the session, majorly, they don't offer sponsorship, but if you're looking to earn more, okay, contract position is what you're looking for. All right. So this is still okay. This is an okay price. So you still have something from 200 to 500. You can earn as much as 800 in some roles, working contract. So this data engineer role is 40 to 65, 50 to 65, 40 to 50. And you see these roles are there for you to latch into. All right. And you can see data engineer, data engineer. You could also search for other roles like what we call cloud engineers or AWS engineer, AWS cloud engineer. Okay. And you see it's a cloud engineer, AWS cloud engineer, 500 to 600 pounds per day, per month. AWS cloud engineer, 530 to 565 per day, not per month. Okay. So these are the things you need to understand, 500 to 600 per day. So these are things that are very common. 650 to 800, 560 to 565, 90 to 100. These are all, this is actually a permanent role, actually. All right. So Python, Linux, AWS, all the things you will learn during the training program, all the things you would learn. Now, this is not remote opportunity just yet. You go for remote guys. If you're looking for remote, I could go to Flex Jobs. Let me say, which of these places? Let me go to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the most popular place. I think all of us can have access to LinkedIn. All right. So follow us on LinkedIn, anyways. Yeah, follow us on LinkedIn. We're doing very great stuff. Okay, please follow us on LinkedIn. All right. So if I go on jobs, okay, and I search for data engineer, for example, all right, data engineer, all right, data engineer, and I can specify this is Germany, actually, okay, because I think yesterday we had a conversation around data engineers, all right, in Germany. So what I'll do if I'm looking for remote opportunity, all right, I'll click the drop down and I'll select remote, okay, and you see this is remote opportunities in as a data engineer in Germany. This is in Germany, just Germany alone. All right. So you see quite staff data engineer, big data engineer full time, open-ended agendas, data engineer, and these are all remote, European Union, remote, everywhere. All right. So, and the good thing about it, and this is when they say global tech talent does not mean that you need to reside in the country. It's a global skill. So you're a data engineer in Nigeria. Does not mean you have to work for a company in Nigeria. All right. So if I finish the training program, I apply for jobs in Germany. I finish from Germany, I go to United States. All right. I do the same thing. All right. I do the same thing. These are all remote jobs in the US. All right. Remote jobs in the US. All remote jobs, data engineering jobs in the US. I could also filter it to the past 24 hours. I have 60 jobs in the last 24 hours. I could use the past week and you say I have 244 results in the past week, just this week alone. All right. So data engineer, and these are all remote jobs in the US. Now, some of them will require you to be in the US, to be living in the US. All right. All right. But some of them don't, but they never specify. They never specify that you have to be in the US or you have to be in the UK or you have to be in a particular place. All right. So you can see this one now, sponsorship is not available. So maybe they can give you the role, okay? They can actually give you the role, but for them to bring you to the US, it's not going to be happen. It's not going to happen. And they have different roles. There's data engineer one, data engineer two, data engineer three. So data engineer one, for example, you just need what? What do you need? Equivalent formal training or work experience, basic knowledge of data. You can actually apply for this job. All right. So it's just that they're not going to sponsor you. That's the only thing. They will not bring you from Nigeria to the US. They're not going to do that for you. All right. So they specified it there. Some of them, don't specify. And that's why I usually tell people, apply. You don't know the rules that will sponsor, you don't know the rules that require to be in the US, you don't know anything. So one thing you need to know is just apply for the job. Okay, apply. Let them be the one to tell you category you have a good CV, but because of this limitation, you cannot do it. But if you just zero your mind to not apply for any of the jobs, you will likely not get anything. All right. So I've been in a situation whereby it's clear sometimes they even clearly state it there, but because they've found it difficult to fill up that role, okay, they consider you for that role. So you never know what scenarios play, all right, in order for you to get this. I finished from United States. Okay. All right. That's not the end. I go to Australia. Okay. I go to Australia. All right. Do the same thing the past week. So this one is a bit too, let's say the past month. All right. So it's not too much for Australia. Okay. So I moved from Australia and that's how I just go from one country to the other to get the remote jobs available. Canada. All right. All of you are looking for jobs in Canada. Okay. Remote jobs. All right. Just say Canada and that's it. Okay. So this is one the past month. Okay. Remote jobs. And I can change this at any point in time. I can specify key areas. Toronto, for example, to search for keywords in Toronto. And these are, I can specify the key areas I'm looking out for. All right. So these are the things you can actually do to get exactly what you are looking for in terms of, and this is just one place. This is just one place. You could go on Flex Job All right, flex jobs. I'm just showing you this so you see exactly that these things exist. So the number one job to find remote jobs. Okay, number one site. You could also go to well found. Okay, well found. Okay, all right. So well found for job seekers, and you see it here, remote. Okay, sorry. I think I took a step forward. All right. Browse jobs. Okay, I click on browse jobs. Okay, you see here over 130,000 remote and local startup jobs. This is majorly for firms across the world, US and literally everywhere, honestly. So you see when you go to data and analytics jobs, you see, these are some of the roles, anyways. You need to sign in order for you to get access to all the jobs. Okay, you need to sign in, and they have very good roles. So you see in different very good startup firms across the world. So this for DoorDash, okay, this Everbright, this Care.com, very good organizations. So you see there are quite a number of places you can actually get these jobs. Okay, it exists. So remote jobs exist. It's just that people don't have the skills to get these remote jobs. All right, so let's talk about the internship quickly, then we can call it a day. Okay, quite. All right, so join the internship program. Okay, join the internship program. Once you go through the training program, you get to learn about the internship. You can add it to your CV to gain real world experience. You can tell potential recruiters that, oh, you currently work with analytics. All right, so this then gives you a boost when you are also looking out for jobs. All right, one more to own your skill. So you get to work more on projects, you get to work on immersive projects, end to end projects, more end to end projects. So at the end, you should have worked with, at least 6 projects during the internship added to your portfolio, plus the ones you take on the training program. And you get that review with an industry expert. That's one thing you need to know. So you get to add on your CV, you get to own your skills, you get to add more projects to your portfolio, and you get that one-on-one review with an expert. All right. Global tech demand for talents in Canada, they're looking for tech. So different parts of the countries, across the world, they are looking for tech talent. They're looking for tech talent. So Canada, we have the global tech talent stream. UK, we have the global talent stream. Germany, we have um the blue card scheme. These are all for tech talent. So this Canada one is one that's really, a lot of people are targeted. So for you to qualify, you only need to have worked in that capacity, in that tech capacity for 6 months. All right, for 6 months. You only need an experience of 6 months to be able to qualify for this role. So you can apply for jobs in Canada, get it, and in order for you to go into Canada, your visa can be ready in as fast as 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. So these are other countries that provide you with, other tech pass. So I was formerly in Ireland, and this was what I was using in Ireland. I moved to the UK and on another different visa type. Okay, so you see, these are the things that allows tech talent to become what we call digital nomads, moving from one region to the other based on the skills that they have. All right. Now, the key question is, why are these countries creating pathways for tech people, for tech professionals? All right. Why are these countries creating these pathways for these tech professionals? IMF came up with a result, a statistics that says that the tech talent shortage will swell to more than 85 million tech workers by 2030. So these organizations are going to be suffering from, the ability not to have what they call the form tech shortages, basically tech talent shortage. And because of this shortage, all right, it can translate to lost revenue of $8 trillion annually. 8 trillion. You'll not be asking yourself, how does tech shortage, how would a business lose from tech short from not having the right tech talent? Very simple. All right. So according to Gartner, okay, 64% of IT executives say that the tech talent shortage is the barrier keeping them from adopting emerging technologies. So imagine you're working at an organization that is generating big data, all right, but you're still using old tools to perform data engineering when you can actually optimize it, work with Apache Spark, work with Apache Airflow, move the data to the cloud. So you see all this cloud adoption, cloud migration, all right? If talent don't exist in the country to do these things for these businesses, they'll be losing out, in terms of revenue. All right. And that's why the countries now, not companies this time around, country, Canada, for example, has created a pathway called Global Talent Stream for people to use that as a basis for them to come into Canada. All right. So facilitators, you would have myself, facilitator, Timmy Olayinka, Oluyinka, also one of the top facilitators in the industry, would be also be and Odin you. All right. She has over 6 years experience working as a software engineer and data engineer for top firms across the world. She has worked across healthcare, technology, and e-commerce, and she's going to be, she has trained over 800 people across the world and help them become data engineers. Delvi Oyana, my guy, okay? Very solid experience. All right. The last 6 years, you see it here, he has been helping businesses build performant data pipeline infrastructures, performant data pipelines, and analytics solution to power their analytics and machine learning and AI initiatives. Okay. David Obina Yema, data engineer, currently work removal based in Canada. Okay. Ju Byron AJ, also experienced data engineer. All right. Also running this own startup called Toju, has experience working as a data engineer across the financial services, information technology, and so on and so forth. And Ibrahim Animasha, machine learning engineer with one of the top firms here in the UK. All right. Abdurrahman Iyaniwura, data science consultant, Big Four Consulting in the UK. You'll be working with them. All right. Daniel Opanubi, also experienced facilitator, or currently working with iTex Integrated Services. Prior experience was Dana Berlin. These guys have industry multinational experience, and they'll be coming to and hold you in becoming the next data engineer. Now, to join the next course, which is starting on the 4th of November, so this training program is the last training program for the year. This is the last program for the year, the last data engineering program for the year. It is £500, okay, and discounted it is 500,000 naira. So that's naira equivalent. So if you want to pay now, okay, the cost of training program is £500 or 500,000 naira. But like I said at the start of the session, okay, if you wait to the end of the session, we have a discount for you. So this discount, okay, rather than you paying £500, okay, you could actually pay £400. You could actually pay £400, and you can also pay in installments. That's the beauty. You can actually pay in installments. So 300 for the first installment and 100 for the second installment. Now, if you're paying in naira, equivalent of 400,000 naira is £400 is 400,000 naira. All right, it's 400,000 naira. You could also pay in 2 installments. All right, 300,000 naira and 100,000 naira. Now, the second installment, which we have here, all right, can actually come, all right, will come 1 month into the training program. All right, so all you need to secure your space now is just to pay the initial deposit of £300 or 300,000 naira. So all you need to do to make payment is click this link. All right, click the link. My colleague in the house, all right, will come in to tell you more. My colleagues are posting it in the chat. All you need to do is just click the link to make payments. All right, somebody's talking about somebody. I'm going to answer a question. So please, guys, this opportunity is not available for everybody. It's not to the end of the year. Okay. Like I said, this is the last program for the year. All right, this is the last program for the year. So this discount is only applies to the first 20 people to make payments. All right, the discount is only available for the first 20 people to make payments. So this is what we call an early bird discount. Early bird discount, okay? For the first 20 people to register. So if you enjoyed exactly what we did, see what we did in just 1 hour. See exactly what we did in just 1 hour plus. All right. Now imagine 3 months plus of you working hands-on on different projects, data engineering projects, Python, SQL, API, web scraping projects. Imagine what you're going to be doing the next 3 months, immersive. All right. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing for you. All right. So secure your position now with a initial payment of £300 or 300,000 naira, and you can get started. All you need to do is click on the link, okay, the main stack link, like I've showed you here. Click on that link, okay, and you would get that information, okay. So account details in the UK, if you want to pay directly into the account, please take a screenshot of the account in the UK. So if you're based in the UK or you're in Ireland or you're anywhere in Europe, you can actually pay using the UK bank details. Okay, this is the international bank number that you could use to make payments. And once you make payments, you could also send a message to this our WhatsApp number. Also in Nigeria, we use the Fidelity Bank account. These are the bank details. All right, and so on. All right. If you have further questions, you could always send a message to this WhatsApp number for us to take your questions. Okay. Now, using the link, once you click on the link, you should see this. Okay. Now, if you want to make Naira payment using your card, okay, so rather than you transferring the money, you want to pay via your card, you could always use the pay stack. So click here. All right, see first full of first payment. All right. So click on that. It's going to take you to the Paystack, Paystack platform where you can actually click on data engineering. So you see data engineering. So you can either pay 300,000 naira or 400,000 naira. So once you click on it, you can specify, do you want to make a full payment or do you want to make a part payment? So once you click on part payment, you see it's 300,000 naira. All right. And you could, how many people do you want to pay for one or two persons? You could specify full payment and all the things you need to do. All right. So all things are there for you to work with. Okay. Now that's for Naira payments, anyways. And non-Naira payments, you could pay in pounds, okay, using PayPal. So take for example, you see it here, PayPal data engineering for data engineering. So you see that either you want to make pay full payment or part payment, you can click on it and it's going to take you to PayPal. Okay, so for part payment, £300, 300 USD. All right. And you can click on buy now. Okay. Click on PayPal. Okay. And you can just pay directly with your debit card. Okay. So all you need to do is once you click on first part payment, all right, it's going to take you to buy now. Click on buy now. Click on PayPal. All right. And you see pay with debit or credit card, and it will take you here to do that. So all you need to put your email and you can continue as a guest. So everything is provided for you in here. If you want to pay in Canadian dollars also, the link is there. First payment, you can click on that, takes you to PayPal, and you can pay 450 Canadian dollars. All right, that has been converted to Canadian dollars anyways. All right, and if you want to do direct transfer, that's the last one that you have there. UK bank account and the Nigerian bank account is also on the link. So all you need to do is just scroll down to get the account details and you can make the transfer. So anyone works. But the key thing you need to know also is to upload your receipts. Please upload your receipt. Please upload your receipt. All right. So once you upload your receipts, this is just come here, upload your initial and full receipt here. Click on it, and it's going to take you to a Google form where you can actually fill in those information. So, all right. So that's it. Let me see if I can take a few questions. Okay, Ebele, you said somebody, Benga and Ebele, if you guys are on the call, who is coming to speak?
Okay, good day everyone. Fuye is on the call. Fuye can unmute your mic and actually speak. Thank you.
All right, so Foye, you're on the call. Okay. Fola, you said Foye. Foye is Fola. Fola, please go ahead. Okay, yes. Fola, do you want to turn on your video so everyone gets to see you? So Fola is currently a student with from analytics. All right. And they've taken out time. She's taken out time to speak to you to share their own personal experience. All right. So I'm going to add spotlight. Yes. Fola, good evening. How are you doing today? It's good to
Fine.
see you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you, Ifemeda. How are
All
you?
right. Very good also. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking out time on the Saturday to, to speak to our people, to potential candidates looking to join the program. So what's your take, anyways?
Yes, you said everything, Paul. So, and if you're going to ask me, and what I would say, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me, please?
Perfectly, yes.
Yeah, so what I'm going to just advise the people coming in to do is to just register as soon as possible, because if you ask me personally, for me staying in the UK and I have experience with some other people, programs and all that. So I would just advise that the amount you given for the program is not like too much, because if I would be the one, I would like, it's going to be more than that, because what you're going to get from the program, apart from the program itself, the technical and all that, they have things like the CV review section, they have mentorship section, and they would be able to talk directly to their facilitators if they're not clear with something. So yeah, it's something that I would surely recommend for other people to do as well. So that's my take.
All right, amazing. Thank you very much. That's okay. Did you have any prior experience before starting? Let me just ask.
I don't have
Oh,
experience. I don't have that experience at all. I don't have most experience. So, and I joined the August squad, and after my CV review section, I started to like check my LinkedIn as well, LinkedIn optimization, and I'm getting calls from employer. So it's kind of like I couldn't have just done that myself. I couldn't have done that alone. So I'm getting calls from employers. I'm not even applying that one, reaching out to me in my inbox and all that for jobs opportunity and all that. So yeah.
all right, that's fantastic. So no prior experience. You can Python now. What's your Python, your SQL, your
Uh
data engineering understanding?
yeah, so Python, I practice very well, because I believe that after teaching as well, I have some hard work to do myself to learn the skills. So if someone is teaching, I would have to do my assignment and all that. So I'm doing that, the Python, the SQL, and I'm getting it. Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic. And sorry, where are you based, if I should ask?
I'm in the UK.
All right, yeah, okay, all right, no problem. That's good. Thanks a lot. Looking forward to seeing you do more. All right, what quarter are you? Sorry, what's that?
August.
August. Okay, okay. So you're still in program, definitely. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking our time. First of all, I really appreciate you for taking our time. Thank you very much for that.
Okay. Thank
All
you as
right.
well. Thank
All
you
right.
for
Cheers.
organizing this program. Oh, thank you. And
Okay.
to what's his name?
Billy
To
and
no,
Vega.
no, the founder. Uh, that
Adeza.
is, yeah,
Adeza. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Adeza.
Thanks
Okay.
to you guys. Thank you so much for the program.
Now, anytime. Anytime. Thank you very much. I will say.
Okay. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Cheers. All right, guys. So that's our current participant on the program coming to tell you, no prior experience before starting, and now she's doing great stuff, getting, calls from recruiters based in the UK. All right, and those are the kind of opportunities you get from going through the training program. All right. So I think we still have a few minutes. Somebody's asking about mentorship, and somebody's saying I should not. So you see, that's the good thing about the training program, guys. You're not paying. There's no extra fee, no extra fee. So whatever you pay is what you get full access to everything. And let me show you the platform so you see exactly what we're talking about. So I'm going to show you the platform in the next 5 minutes. Then if you have any question, please raise up your hand. I'll be taking questions. So I can see 3 people already raising up their hands. So I'm going to be taking them in the short period of time. Just give me a second. I'm going to walk you through the platform real quick. All right. So you see, once you register for the training program, you are added to what we call a Google platform, a Google Classroom. Okay. So this is the guys that started in October. All right. You'll see their code 2310. So that's the October 2023. All right. So currently they are for today. All right. So they've had a session for today already. All right. So you see, they had a mentorship session yesterday. All right. Interview simulation program, and we had the mini interview. We had, mentorship sessions basically. All right. All right. So let's start from the start of the program, anyways. So you get your welcome kit, and this is the reason why we're doing the early bird discount, essentially, to get people to register on time so that they can actually get ready before the class starts. So you have, the onboarding materials, you have all the how to download, you see the downloading PostgreSQL, downloading an account, how to navigate the Google Classroom, so on, everything, all the materials are there for you to, basically onboard you for the program. Okay. So you see, week one, Saturday, data engineering. Okay. All right. Introduced to data engineering. And this is, you see, recorded. The classes are recorded. Okay. The classes are recorded. Okay, so you get access to the recording. You see the recording is there. That's Timmy, all right, one of the facilitators you've been working with. All right. You get the material. So we don't keep material. All the materials are on the Google Classroom. Like I said, you get access to everything. So you can see all the things you're going to go through. What is data? What is data engineering? Emergence of data engineering? What data engineering? So on and so forth. You get to learn all that. Okay. Thereafter, okay, you move into Python. Okay, so you get to learn Python, start with learning Python. So Python basics, okay, Python basics. So you get to work with Python basics, and you see the recording is there for you to get started with. This is Timmy, all right, one of the facilitators you've been working with. Okay, so you get access to the recording, and after that, you need to practice. Okay, classes are on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday. All right. So the rest of the week, Monday to Friday, you need to practice. All right. You need to get better. You need to work with. So we've provided what we call watch me do it videos. We have what we call watch me do it videos. So let me show you that watch me do it videos. So this is all Python data types. You see it here, Python data types. So the first data types you're going to be working with is integer and float. All right. So you need to understand how to, and we call it watch me do it video for a reason. Okay. So you see me practice, you see me here. I'm the one walking you through, Python programming. So you see me here. All right. And you would essentially see how to start. Okay. So you see, as I'm walking you through the code, all right, as I'm walking you through the code, you are also coding also. So it gives you the ability to practice during the week, Monday to Friday. So you're not just left alone during the week. All right. You're giving the watch me do it videos. You're also giving projects. You see, yeah, you will get assignments. All right. Week one quiz. All right. You still get assignments, you get projects to work on. All right. So you get to week two Saturday, Python basics. All right. Saturday and Sunday, week two. All right. You get another watch me do it video for you to practice. All right. You move into Python basics. You still do Python basics week three. You do, PostgreSQL, you do the same thing, all right? Installation and how to work on it, okay? So those are the things you're going to work on. Those are the things that are going to, everything is, let me go to an earlier quote so you see a more detailed, a more detailed structure. But those guys just started a couple of weeks ago, so they've not done too much. They're just 3 weeks into their course. All right. So this one's are the one that started in September. Okay. So you see the welcome kit, you see the drop-in sessions, introduction to data engineering, the material, and the slide, the recording. The material, that's the slides, and we have the recording. Data types, you go into data types, you get the watch me do it video, you get the week one challenge, you go into week two, the first class, second class, and everything is structured. And the good thing, like I said, you have all the materials. You have what? You have access to all the materials, the recorded lifetime access, lifetime access. So this is Byron, okay? So Byron is taking this particular class. So you get lifetime access to the materials that you're going to be working with. So you see, you're never going to, even if you're a slow learner, all right? You have the classes, okay? You have the recording, meaning that after the class, you could always take it back. If you want to, even rewind, fast forward, you could do all the things you need to do in order for you to grab, all the things that was taught in class. And you also get, those watch me do it videos, bite-sized videos. So if you take a look at those videos, okay, you'll notice that they are very short, okay? They are short videos. This is 19 minutes, all right? If you take a look at another one, all right, you see these videos are they're not long, all right? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, this is 11 minutes. So the videos are very short, bite-sized videos that will get you to practice more during the week. So you're never going to be left alone with project, with assignment, with support. So if you look at people, all right, you have about see the number of teachers you're going to get. So you have Ibrahim, you have Adeza, you have Bailey, you have myself, you have Benga, okay, one get joined twice, you have Damilola. So you're always going to get the support that you need to get started. Do you understand? So you're never going to be left alone. All right. So those are the things you need to have at the back of your mind. Okay. So, so let me just take a few questions, then we can call it a day. All right. Lucky, do you want to unmute yourself? I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself so I can take your question quickly. Lucky, I'm asking you to unmute yourself. So it's easy. Let me just ask you to do that again. Lucky OBG. Lucky OBG. Okay, Lucky is not unmuting himself. So I'm going to move to Babatunde. Babatunde. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Yes, Babatunde, please go ahead.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hello. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I just want to quickly ask, how are we going to have access to the recording of maybe yesterday and today?
Oh, so you would get an email, all right? You'll get an email to either today or tomorrow. You should get an email that would give you, or you should have received. Did you receive an email for the data science that happened yesterday?
Now,
Okay. Did you fill in the attendance form?
yes, I did.
Okay, you get don't worry, I'll confirm again just to be sure that it has gone out, but you should have received one. Check your spam email if you have not checked. All right, you should have received one yesterday or this
Okay,
morning. Yeah. All right, but you for this one also you received it either you should receive it tomorrow by God's grace. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
All right, no problem about Sunday. Thank you. All right, so let me ask Oluwole. Oluwole, do you want to go ahead? Yes.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Oluwole.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question is a personal question. Currently I'm a senior document controller in an engineering company,
Okay.
and then actually I work with Excel, the CSV,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of the thing that you talked about today.
Okay.
And I want to migrate into tech, and I think I'm falling in love with this data engineering. However, I'm just thinking, I'm 50. So I'm thinking, how will a 50-year-old man get a job in tech with my age? So even after, going through the training, mastering everything, which company we employ, I'm somebody who is already 50 or something. That has been my concern. And again, how easy is it for somebody like me, to actually have a full grasp of what you're thinking, about what you're teaching? So these are my personal concern.
Okay. So in terms of timing, let's say, okay, in terms of time, is it possible you take out 1 hour of your time every day to learn, to practice? Let's just put it that way, to practice. Can you take out 1 hour out of your time? Family, take out family, you obviously after you taking care of the family, you've gone to work, you've come back. Can you take out 1 hour every day to practice? That's one question I would ask. Okay, Oluwale, you've gone back muted, so I'm gonna just unmute you. Yes. Could you take out 1 hour every day, if I would ask? Oluwale, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I'm talking. Yes, I'm asking you. Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah, then you're fine. All right. So the key thing here is you're not gonna be for Nigeria, yeah. I think in Nigeria, we all know if you're in Nigeria, if I'm correct, yeah.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Nigerians, I would say there's still a little bit of, I would say restrictions, okay, in terms of age, and that's why you might be biased towards that. But outside the country, you won't get this kind of bias, okay? So if you're going to be targeting, you won't be targeting companies in Nigeria. You should be targeting more of remote opportunity, remote jobs outside the country. So it's not going to be a barrier for you. It's not a barrier, to be very honest with you. All right. So the key thing is for you to take out time, first of all, to practice, to learn as much as you can. Trust me, when you eat the job market and you have the skills, you have all the things that we said, all the things that we're going to go through for you, you should be able to learn something by yourself. Okay? Majorly outside the country, remote opportunity. So those are the things that will help you to do to get you started, if that makes sense. So all you need to do is believe that you can actually do it. All right? Believe you could do it. All right? Practice, learn, all the projects, all the assignment that you're working on, do it. Be attentive in class, ask questions. Like, honestly, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised for yourself. Okay, and that's what I'll just say. To be honest with you, so Oluwale, if you're ready to get started, join the train, and we'll get you started. Okay,
Definitely, I will. I'm in already.
you're in
Thank you
already.
so
That's
much.
good. I appreciate
Yeah,
that big time.
thanks.
All right. So Benjamin is also Benjamin.
Hello,
Yan
I'm here.
is saying age doesn't matter at all. in the tech world. So that's one thing I usually tell most people. It's not a barrier. All right, thanks Oluwole for that. Damilola Aroyewu. Aroyewu. Damilola, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
How do you pronounce your last name? Yeah, sorry.
Aroyewu.
Aroyewu. Okay, that's good. Thank you.
Okay, so when I saw the I just learned about the school, I think yesterday, and then I sent a message and I was told to attend this workshop to just learn about it. But I thought this was for data analytics. I'm just later finding in between that is for engineering. So I just want to know from
Okay.
your own view, because I went to check it online, what the difference is, and I know.
Okay, so how do I okay, let me see if I can go to the start of my slide quickly in 2 minutes. You'll see I talked about it at the start, maybe you are not joined then. All right, so this is it. So let me just clean this up a bit. Okay. All right, so I'll just do it in 1 minute, okay? So you understand. So the data analyst, this is you, yeah. All right, this is you. Okay. This is you, yeah. This is what you want to become. You want to work as a data analyst, okay, or what we call a data scientist. No, no, no. Let's just say either a data analyst. You're talking about data analyst, so we're going to stick it to you, data analyst. So the kind of tools you use, okay. Example tools that you work with a tool called Power BI. Have you heard of Power BI?
Yeah.
All right. You work with tools like Excel, okay. Okay. You work with tools like Tableau. Okay. Now, the key question, the scenario we're working on currently is imagine you're a data analyst, okay, working in a bank, okay, and you want to track transactions across the bank's ATM, okay? So you have ATM, you have your mobile app, okay, and you have your POS. Now, the transaction from ATM, it will be stored in the ATM database. Okay, in an ATM database. All the transactions. So when you go to the ATM and you put your card inside the ATM to withdraw money, to pay somebody, to buy recharge card, all this transaction will be stored in the ATM database. Now, mobile app, you go on your GT app, on your Zenith app, on your Fidelity app, and you transfer, you receive money, you do all those transactions. It will store also in your mobile app database. Okay, mobile app, okay, database. POS, you go to buy all those things, all the things, you go to ShopRite, you go to the mall, all right, all those transactions you do on the POS would also go to the POS database. But now the CEO is asking you to do, analysis on all this data to know that, okay, to find out, your data analyst, what would you be doing? You'll be doing what we call, you'll be doing dashboard, okay? All right, you build a dashboard, okay? So you want to know the best performing, all right, the best performing, what do you call it? The best performing,
Database.
the transaction source,
Yeah,
okay? All right. So
channel.
yeah, exactly. Are people paying more with ATM than mobile
Mm.
app? If they're paying more on ATM, what time of the day do people use the ATM the most? So you can start to stock up more money. If people are coming very early in the morning, then put money a night before, so that when people go there, right, they will see it. So you want to track the time of the day people use this platform. If they're using mobile app more during in the afternoon, all right. So if you see the trend like this and it drops in the evening, you want to optimize your mobile app application so that
At that
you
time.
know that time, if you have more people using the application, they should be able to, that's what the data analyst will be doing. Basically doing all this dashboard, pie charts, okay, all right, to see which one is best for just basically to do compare and contrast. But now the key question, the key problem here is the data analyst will need to connect to these databases. Will connect to the ATM database. The data analyst will connect to the mobile app database. The data analyst will connect to the POS database. So directly to the source. So this data analyst is connecting, all right, directly to the source. All right, connecting directly to the source, to data source. All right, and there's so many issues connecting that there are so many issues connecting directly to the data source. One is, it's basically inefficient. All right, it will make your analysis very slow. Okay, because imagine how many people are using that just one ATM, just
Yeah.
one ATM. Do you know how many people are using that every single day? I imagine different ATMs across different platforms, different locations, and so on. All right, the volume of the transaction, and that's what we now start to talk about big data. Lucky your microphone. I think I'm just gonna go back to Michi. Sorry. All right, that's what we refer to as big data. Okay, and because it's large, these tools that you're working with are not built for working with large big data. The tools of a data analyst, Power BI, Excel, Tableau, they're not built to handle big data. All right. So it becomes a challenge because your analysis will be slow. All right. Sometimes there's something we call inconsistencies. Okay. All right. All right, inconsistencies. All right. You have error in the data. All right. You have so many things that you have to deal with. So the data analyst, obviously, you still have to you are just building a dashboard. You cannot start to optimize your data source. You can't start to deal with inconsistency. You can't start dealing with errors. The stakeholders, the key stakeholders in the business, the CEO, all right, the CEO, the CFO, all right, and other key stakeholders within the business, they want you to give them solution as fast as possible. So they want to send you a message. Their data analyst, dear Damilola, we need a report to track something in Lagos or in Abuja or in somewhere in Kenya or a branch location in Kenya. They want to get it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
All right. So imagine you have to deal with slow, inconsistency, error, duplicated data, okay, and so many other issues. All right. You cannot work fast. It's impossible. So that's where the role of a data engineer now comes in. Okay. All right. The role of a data engineer now comes in. Okay. So just give me a second. Sorry. All right. So this data engineer now comes. This is where the data engineer now comes to sit down. Okay. All right. So you want your own role is to build dashboard as a data analyst. Okay. You just want to build your pie chart, your line chart, your column chart, and all those your charts, basically all those charts. Okay, to build a dashboard. That's what you want to do. So you don't need to start figuring out how to extract data from the ATM database. Okay, you don't need to start figuring out how to get data from the mobile app database. All right, you don't need to figure out how to get data from the POS database. That is the job of the data engineer. The data engineer would perform what we call extraction process. So basically, this is the extraction. The data engineer would extract data, all right, from all the data sources, from ATM database, would extract data from POS database, will extract data from the mobile app database. So after extracting, this data engineer would also transform, basically to clean up the data sets, to clean the data. Okay, all right, that's the transformation process. Okay, after cleaning up the data will now be clean. After cleaning up, we'll load it into what we call a data warehouse. Okay, data warehouse. Okay, we'll load it into a data warehouse. Okay, and after that, what would happen? So instead of the data analyst looking to connect to 3 data sources, all right, rather than connecting to 3 data sources, the data engineer has consolidated all the data from these 3 data sources into one data warehouse. So this data analyst only needs to connect to this data warehouse to build their dashboard or their reports. Okay? Do you understand? So the data engineer is the person that builds that data architecture, all right, that enables, fast reporting, all right, for the data analyst, or maybe machine learning, data science activities, and so on and so forth. So the data engineer basically just extract data from different sources, what we call data sources across the organization. All right. So looking at you currently, okay? You have a mobile phone, okay? On your mobile phone, you have different places that store data in your mobile phone. You
Yeah.
have your phone logs, okay? Your call log. Let me just put it that
Yeah.
way. Call. Where does it store? There is a place that you go to view your call logs that store all the information, all the data. Oh, you called Damilola yesterday. You called Ifemena. You called Abjur too. You called the billing. Oh, everything is stored inside the call log. All right. You text messages is stored inside text messages folder. Your gallery stores what? Pictures and photos. All right. You see, you have different compartments that store different information in that your same phone. So
Yeah.
imagine an organization, a company, all right, an organization, they would have different places that store data also. So
Yeah.
take, for example, their web, okay, store web information. All right, mobile app, okay, store mobile app information. All right, they are what we call SAS, software as a service. Stuff like, what have you heard of Salesforce?
Salesforce, no.
Okay, Salesforce is a software. Okay, Salesforce. Have you heard of SAP?
Yes.
Okay, SAP, QuickBooks, these are all software as a service that they can actually leverage. Okay, or what we call ERP or CRM tools. Okay, so organizations have different platforms that they use. Okay, so the
Yeah.
data engineer is the person that would learn or figure out how to get data from all the data sources within the organization. All right, get data from all these data sources and load it into a data warehouse. Okay, to make it available for stakeholders across the organization. So these people, the stakeholders, data analysts, data scientists, HR analysts, financial analysts, they don't need to be running outer skelter to where to get the data. The data engineer makes the data available. Okay. So that's the key thing. So the data analyst is not a mathematician. It doesn't have to be good with maths. It doesn't have to be good with statistics. It doesn't care about what you do with your data. Well, it will still care to an extent. All right. But all right, it's just basically a plumber. Okay. Making the data, creating pipeline to push the data from a source location, okay, all right, to a destination, okay, location, okay, and that's it. I don't know if that makes sense now. Does it?
It does make sense. Yeah.
All right. So I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have.
All right. So if you want to become a data analyst, it's a different career path. You are focused more on building visualization, analysis, and so on and so forth. All right. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. But so if you're just joining us for the first time, are you following us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or any other
Yeah,
platform?
you spoke about it, so I went to follow you. Yes.
Yes. So one thing I would say is we are on Instagram. If you check us on Instagram also, it's Tilt Analytics on Instagram. So if I go on Instagram, for example, we have the reason why I'm saying we should go on Instagram is also to keep up to date. Are you on the WhatsApp group? Are you on the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, the one that got me the Zoom link to this. Or what do you mean? I don't know if there's another one.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a WhatsApp group. So if you go to the WhatsApp group, you would get information from the WhatsApp group. So we are still going to be having several sessions. This is just one. We had one session later this afternoon, early this afternoon, around 5 or thereabouts. Okay. But we also had, we had an HR acquisition and talent. This was HR analyst, looking to become HR analyst. Okay, this is what we are doing currently. Build your first ETL data pipeline using Python and SQL. All right. So we have different sessions that we do. Also next week we have quite a number of sessions: data analytics, data science, and so on. So you can join the ones that you're interested in. So if you're looking at becoming a data analyst, all right, we should have a session. We have a session on financial analytics, all right, tomorrow. Also, we have a session on, if I'm correct, we should have a session on financial analytics and I think data analytics, if I'm correct. Okay. So yeah, so we have sessions every day, every week. Okay. So you could just if you're on the WhatsApp group, just take out time to join any of the sessions that you want to join, and you can see exactly, how each of these career paths behave, okay, or a day in the life of these career paths. So that's what we're trying to, push out. All right. Does that make sense for you?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you so much.
All right, no problem, Damilola. Thanks. All right, guys, thank you very much. So I would like to say this, please, guys. This discount is only available for the first 20 people. I'll say that again. So for people that are asking questions around how did you submit after making payments, after making payments, how do you submit your receipt or payment? So all you need to do is click on the main stack link, click on it, all right, and you will see a part where it shows you to submit your payment, okay? Submit your receipt, okay, to upload your receipt. So click here to upload your receipt. Just fill the form, put in your form information, your first name, last name, preferred email, and so on and so forth, and you will get an email confirmation, all right? And then, a couple of days after, you should receive the welcome kit for you to get registered. All right. Anyway, so we've been doing so well, and it's because of our achievement last year that is actually fueling us to do more this year. All right. So we have over 300 people last year, and we're saying this year we want to do more. We want to get more people. And to be very honest with you, we've done way more than 300 from last year. I've done more than 300 this year. All right. Land their first job in tech. Now, these people from last year, what really motivated us? These people had no prior experience. Had no what we call prior experience. Okay, no prior experience. So we had people that were working as acres, working as entrepreneurs, relocated to the UK, relocated to US, relocated to Canada. All right, or even based in their local home country in Africa. Okay, so either in Nigeria, in Kenya, and you see these people, before the end of the year, they were able to land their first tech jobs, all right, in data engineering, data science, data analytics, and so on. So you see some of them now work with some of the top firms across the world, back home in Nigeria, back home in Africa, and also across the world. So we have people working with the NHS, the post office, we have people working with HSBC, Cognizant, Amazon, Microsoft, Nestle, and so on and so forth. All right. So you see, with this achievement, all right, we got featured, all right, on different daily news, all right, Business Day, Nairametrics, The Punch. And you see, the one that really, got us, really motivated us was PR Fire. PR Fire is essentially a Europe-based platform that shares, news across Europe. And, we're surprised to see that, Tech reiterate commitments to help Africans get tech jobs in Europe. All right. And that's because of what we're able to achieve, get more Africans into the tech space. And like I said at the start of the session, the whole motivation for us, honestly speaking, is to get more Africans into the tech space. So if you're looking to getting started, please, this is the best platform for you. We also got featured on Tech About, okay? And you see it here, EdTech platform, 10 analytics, Grand Tech Scholarship to 300 women. So we did this earlier this year to commemorate the International Women's Day. These are the things that, women, first of all, even Africans, we are at the advantage already. All right, now if you put Africans that are women, for that discrimination, for that, for that less opportunity. And that's the reason why quite a number of ladies that have gone through, that have completed their programs, currently have transitioned already, getting jobs. And I'll share some of their profiles with you as we go on. So, we did a data analytics hackathon earlier this year, all right, for our student alumni. All right, Michelle Conway was one of the judges. All right, she's currently the lead data scientist with Lloyd Banking Group here in the UK. Sadiq Akintola, you say smart analytics customer engineer with Google. Sebastian, AI ethics researcher with Cambridge University. Olayemi Jola Osho, Olamide Jola Osho, head of data and insight with Wema Bank. So you see, quite a number of people. So we have Chizoba that got a job as a data engineer with who? With the NHS. All right, so you can see. Thank you for organizing an interview prep with Byron. So one of the facilitators for the program, Byron. I appreciate it. Good afternoon. How did it go? I believe I got a job. Just waiting for a formal confirmation, and that's it. All right. So I did BC also went through the full stack data science program. currently has a job as a data engineer. And you see, these are the kind of jobs you are open to also get. And you see quite a number of them getting jobs in the UK, getting jobs in the US. You see, Nate is based in the US, got a job in the US. And you see, Abdurrashid is in Nigeria and got a job in the US. He's still in Nigeria, still working for a firm in the US. So we have quite a number of people getting jobs across. And you see, we have testimonials. Testimonials are plenty. All right. So if you're looking to become a data engineer, these are you want to get ahead of you're looking at next year. All right. We're not looking at yes, some people can actually start this year and still get a job this year. Okay, very possible before the end of the year. All right. But the whole idea is for you to prepare for the next year, 2024. So if you're looking to get a head start of next year, please, this is the best platform for you to get started. All right. So you see all the materials will be sent to you for you to take a look to see people's performance across all the platform and all that. So please, just the last call. This early bird discount is for the first 20 people to register. The training program is starting on the 4th of November 2023. Thank you very much. If there are no other questions, this is where I'm going to call it a day. So if you had a wonderful time, guys, all right? So this is what I'm going to call it. So please, guys, this is a wake-up call. If you're looking to get started next year, please register to get started, all right? And we can take it off from there. All right. It's been almost, I think, over 3 hours. Okay. All right. I think we've done. Thank you for waiting to the end. Let me say that first of all. Thank you for staying to the end. And you guys deserve, so much, so much. Okay. So, I think this is what we're gonna call it a day again. All right. So let me give you permission to meet you. If you had a wonderful time today, can you say yeah, yeah? Yeah, yeah. So if you had a wonderful time today, if you learned something new, you were excited, you did something fantastic in the bomb, you guys are the bomb. I won't lie. I'm just here to service you, and you guys are doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You can unmute yourself, guys. Yeah, 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 yeah. My guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for staying to the end. Thank you for enjoying yourself. I enjoyed myself also. Thank you very much, guys. All right. So
Thank you, brother. Thank you,
thank you
brother.
very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend, guys, and see you in the training program. Promise to see you in the training program. Cheers, everyone, and bye.